This episode of Always Considered is brought to you by Plaything, TM. Hello, dear. Wait, is that a filthy magazine? Hand it over.
It's a Plaything, TM, and I'm only reading it for the articles.
No, give it here. I want to read it for the articles. Now, here's Ben and Jason.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Always Considered. As always, I'm your host, Ben Loflesnick, and I'm joined by...
Jason Dundredall McHale, I would hope. If I'm not me, then I don't know.
True that. Well, hey, everybody, we're back in usual excellent form. Let me check to make sure the sound is on.
Yeah, all right. Make sure we were just futzing around with the cameras and didn't realize we had the pre-roll rolling in time because we wanted to make sure my head was the right size. I guess really it was what it boils down to.
It's all good, man.
It's all good, man. So what's up?
I don't know what's up with you. No, it's I've been recovering from my hospital stay, and I'm back in fighting form now. I've finished my antibiotics. I've got good energy, and getting stuff done. We cleaned up our basement. Finally unpacked the last 8 boxes from when we moved here.
It wasn't that long ago.
A year ago.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that may actually be a record for unpacking, because nobody goes to that last box.
I was going to say, because I think I still have a few boxes in my closet from when I moved almost 2 years ago, so don't worry. It's okay. It's not that bad.
So how is your week going?
Mine's great. Work's good. I have to go downtown tomorrow, which is going to be interesting. I have to go into the Navy Yard for some stuff. But other than that, everything's good. Last week's great. I went to the Apollo 11 thing downtown last week on Friday when it was insanely hot. It was an absolutely fantastic show, but it
sounded like an incredibly unpleasant potential experience.
It was
middle of a heat wave here in D.C.
It was... like when you got close to the mall, you could tell the temperature was rising, and then as you walked into the center of the crowd, the temperature was easily, I have to say, 10 degrees hotter, if not more, than when you were away from all the other people. Because they said over the course of the whole thing, I think like 500,000 people went to see it, and they were expecting 25,000 over 6 shows. I don't know what's up with the Smithsonian not understanding. Americans love to watch our stuff about us. So... yeah, no, that was great last weekend, and then this week's, that.
Yeah, well.
And now we're here, man.
We're here, and tonight we have, we got more Privateer for you. We're going to start earning that Centurion. We're going to explore the Ferris Quadrant.
We're going to try some different ways of making money.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at Privateer 2 ship, the Faldari in a little bit.
Hey, Faldari!
And he can do that because he's Italian.
I plan on doing a lot of that.
What else? I've totally lost my track of thought. We've got the Faldari, we've got Privateer, we got Fleet Action Book Club. We'll be finishing. Is the very final Fleet Action Book Club.
Yep.
Until like 3 years from now when we come back around to it.
And have a second re-examination of it?
We'll have a totally different opinion of it then. We'll all be like arch conservatives, and we'll be like, this guy's telling the truth about the military. America's shitting. Okay.
We want to read this from the Kilrathi, or we can be the other way around. Like, we're going to only read this from the Kilrathi perspective and put their thoughts into these actions.
Final Fleet Action Book Club is coming up. And if you want to talk about Fleet Action with us, feel free to join us on Discord. There's a special voice channel we'll be joining when we get to that segment, and we'll make sure you're heard.
Yes.
But before that, we had one follow-up from last week. We don't have a slideshow this week. There's no specific slideshow because we're doing one in person. Last week...
do I get a throttle? Should I grab a throttle to actually afterburn myself?
Actually throttle me?
Yeah. Whoa! That is for the late show. Nobody knows about LAWC yet.
Yeah, that's the 11 o'clock. It does get a little blue.
Lossy. That's weird. All right, let's stop talking about that.
Yeah,
now.
let's go a different direction.
Anyway,
right now.
So the in-person and afterburner slideshow.
Last week we talked about Cobalt 60 and they were rolling. We committed prophecy. This is the Cobalt 60.
I thought you were joking 20 minutes ago.
No, Cobalt 60. And I think last week I promised 2 things. I was going to show the Wing Commander Prophecy music video.
Okay.
And I was going to show you the ridiculousness that is collecting albums connected to Wing Commander Prophecy, and I've got them all here, and we're going to show them in just a minute.
I can't even see them. I'm not.
Oh,
Well, shit. That's how the best of it. All right, this is a in-person Afterburner slide. It's going to be a long one, I can tell as well.
But before that, so there was an actual Wing Commander Prophecy music video that had the CD, the music from the CD single, and it played over. Interestingly, it's an earlier build of Prophecy, so you'll see the shields are different. There's some different effects that got cut from the final game, and this was included as a QuickTime file on the CD, the Prophecy soundtrack CD. And here it is. The quality's a bit low because it's a video from 1997, but and of course, hopefully, we're not going to set off our copyright, folks, because I checked and see this has been uploaded before, but YouTube. So here's the Wing Commander Prophecy music video. If this doesn't have you singing the Prophecy song, I don't know what will.
Prophecy, prophecy.
Prepare for
No
launch.
time to lose, Casey. You've got to clear out all the fighter crafts so the Shrikes and Bravo can take out that cruiser.
3, 2, 1.
Air Patrol will take the fighters. You handle those big guns.
The images were clear. I know what I've been told. It's almost here. I have no doubt. I wish I hadn't been the channel, the bringer of omens. I wish I hadn't been chosen as the witness of the curse of my universe. Of the world I knew, there was nothing left. In the flow of time grew a giant theft. It was very clear, and it's almost here. Of the world I knew, there
Wow, that was a treat.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
there's a blast from the past.
Blast from the blast. That's the expression.
Yes, well, listen, we just had some moments of genius during that, so I think, I'm allowed to...
We did think of something great for one of our future shows. But
Yes, so
we'll
it's
spoil that
recorded
later,
of. Yes. But yeah, no, and we were talking at the same time, it is a weird look at, though, that era of, the early release stuff, and then, like you said, the fire is very strange.
Yeah, if you look at the Kawaki Cruiser in there, it's got this, it's stock fire effect that makes it look like a building that's on fire is all dotted all over it. The VDUs are different, it's like that E3 build, and it's a nice. You don't always get early videos of early builds like that, but the important thing this time was the music, which apparently did not get access off YouTube. So
that's
job.
right. Yeah, we were. I was really busy.
Yeah.
Oh, you were kind of paying attention. Yeah, I wasn't really looking at that. But yeah, that's right. We didn't. Well, some stuff should just be allowed to explode into the ether and then dissipate into it.
Yeah, and we saw somebody in the chat had mentioned Front 242, and that's exactly right. Cobalt 60 is a side project of Jean-Luc Demeyer from Front 242. So that's why it sounds like that. Last week I promised we would show off the ridiculousness of the album releases for this.
Should this go? Is this do you want the big screen for
Yeah,
this?
let's do it here because
You want to
it's
just
CD
after
and that's
burner?
square.
This is where we need actually a camera 3. We need something fancy, but anyways. Myself.
So here is the actual Wing Commander Prophecy soundtrack CD, and like so many soundtracks of the time, this was it's almost nothing to do with Wing Commander Prophecy. It has 2 tracks from the game. It has that title track, and it has a second track by Cobalt 60. And then the rest of it is almost all just slush music from other. It's basically a sampler for that sort of industrial music.
Prophecy.
And if you look at the legalese fine print at the bottom, it tells you that it has 2 songs from Wing Commander Prophecy, 3 that were, quote, inspired by Wing Commander, and the rest are, it's like a Rammstein track, and all these, existing tracks taken from other albums that happen to be owned by this album.
There's a lot of your German-looking stuff on there at the bottom.
And if you want to be a collector of ridiculous things, let me read you the track listing, because this is one of those things that doesn't mean anything to Wing Commander fans necessarily. These
I was like, jeez, how many of these damn things? But all right, now it makes sense.
So Cobalt 60, Fear Factory, Die Krups, Rammstein, Junkie XL, Das Ich. I'm not German, I'm sorry.
I think it's Ike.
Is it?
I think that's Ike.
I like Ike.
like it.
KMFDM, Paradise Lost, Project Pitchfork, Eskimos in Egypt, Brooklyn Bounce, Juno Reactor, and another Cobalt 60 track. So it's
got on there with something. We gotta figure out how we get no glare on this one day, but
so there were three CD issues of this. Would
you like all of them?
Yeah, here's all 3 of them together.
Picture that's a Christmas card right there for you.
The biggest way to tell the difference: one is Canadian, one is U.S., and one is German. You can tell the difference from the barcodes.
Why do the Canadians get their own?
I'm not sure. Apparently, they're different. Attic Records in Canada had the rights to this instead.
Okay.
The other way to tell them apart, at least the U.S. and the German one, is theoretically
one is in German.
One is here. It is. So in the U.S., it promotes Fear Factory as the big deal, and in the German one, Rammstein. So
I think it's Rammstein.
Rammstein? Yeah, I'm sure it is Rammstein. I just have a bad head for German words. I'm sorry, Germans. So from that weird album, we get all sorts of crazy releases that you two can collect very easily because they're not expensive at all. And it's a fun thing to track down all the arms of this weird octopus. It's the one we saw last week, the CD for German DJs.
It's just we spin this at the club.
It's different remixes of that prophecy song.
Wait. How do you remix Perfection?
You can do it 3 times apparently. So that's the one that started all this last week.
Release the Kraken.
There is also we can say release the Kraken again. That's a shield killer.
That's the Lamprey shield killer and really a thing.
There is also an actual CD single.
Oh, hey. Whoa.
This is a CD single of just that prophecy song This is the only track on it. This was the special bonus if you bought Wing Commander Prophecy Special Edition at Costco in 1997. And I remember in high school getting a Costco membership for myself so that I could buy this.
Your parents must have loved you at least.
My mom does.
She still got it. Mine expired.
Now, at the same time, that same year in 97-98, Cobalt 60 dropped their second and I believe last studio album, 12.
Are you putting any weight in those events, connecting them with anything?
No, I think he went back to do Front 242 and he does other industrial stuff, and a big deal in that world. I just don't know that world other than this, which I think is cool. Anyway, there is the limited first edition of this 12 album includes a second CD of bonus tracks, which include more music from Wing Commander Prophecy. So, and again, that's not hard to find.
That's really the only one I can remember of them, even though I can.
The others don't have lyrics. The other Cobalt 60 songs don't have lyrics.
No, I know. Just I can remember that. I can't.
So for years and years, I figured those were all the Wing Commander Prophecy albums. But boy, was I wrong.
This looks like a Pink Floyd cover or something. Weird.
So I only just about 2 years ago figured this out. I looked up. Discogs has all these. Music people are crazy and wonderful, and they started tracking, all the promos and samplers and things that record places have put out. And I learned that there are 2 other sampler discs from the company that did, from Edel, the label that did the Wing Commander Prophecy soundtrack, that include Prophecy music. This one is like their monthly check out our stuff album called Edel Stuck, and this is the one for May 97, and it has the Wing Commander Prophecy theme song.
Prophecy.
And this is a really kind of embarrassing looking one.
Wait, Cobalt 60 is track 6. That's all I had for it.
Absolutely meaningless.
Yep, nope. Just wanted to make that comment to everybody. A lot of words there. Edelstuck.
Here we have something called the Gothic Compilation Part 9.
By itself, an embarrassing own, but mixed in with these others, you don't really notice.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
And by itself,
this actually has the other Wing Commander Prophecy track that got released on albums. Darwin Was Right.
Oh,
so that's an exciting find.
What an interesting cover! It's like a skeleton mask wearing a black skeleton.
It's like an S&M skeleton or something, a fetish skeleton.
Yeah, and then the back is just some dude on a couch holding a skull. So
we'll be talking more about this in the adult show.
And it whoa! It folds out. You didn't. I have to show them this. Pulling a gun on you, bitches. Still holding the skull though. But do we want to know? Should I look? Is it safe? Oh, it's nothing exciting. It's just a bunch of shit words. Anyways,
very disappointed with
that. Well, because you can't go from the skull thing then you have a gun. Come on, you have to finish that on something good, and you get nothing. All right, whoa! I see a lot of fun colors.
There's some '90s stuff. So here's a sampler album from Germany.
Okay.
It's called Screen Fun Hits.
What's wrong with Laura Croft's head?
And this is a weird one. Universe of weird ones. This is a really weird one because it contains no music from Wing Commander Prophecy.
Why do you have it?
Well, here I'll explain. So
okay.
So I open it. Let me open this up.
Okay.
You'll see, here's the pickle ship, the Stingray from Wing Commander Prophecy. There's a Hornet or a Wasp in. There's Wing Commander Prophecy.
Yep.
Despite not actually including music from the game or even inspired by the game, what they have done is sub-licensed a track from the Wing Commander Prophecy compilation album, but not one of the tracks from Wing Commander Prophecy. So the track here credited to Prophecy is Brooklyn Bounce, the theme of Progressive Attack, which predates Wing Commander Prophecy by quite a bit. And
I feel like I know that song from my strange days in the late.
Yeah, it's one of those. I sound like such a middle-aged man, and I am.
Brooklyn Bounce, the theme of progressive. That also sounds like the current state of Brooklyn, the Progressive Attack.
Good one.
Is that you like that? That was me dropping some political knowledge.
So, and I'll go through these quick because you guys have seen these all before. This is just music that's
Hello.
not Cobalt 60 from Prophecy.
Hello, old friends.
We've got George's jazz album.
Yep.
We've got his fantastic orchestral recording project album.
Yep.
And his promo album, Music for the Wing Commander Universe, which all include some of his music for Wing Commander Prophecy.
Signed. I can't even tell which hand is which hand in this. Oops. Signed. Can't even tell which way is up. Oh my.
And for a long time, we thought that's everything that could possibly be connected to Wing Commander Prophecy in terms of industrial music from the late 90s.
Building the
But we
walls.
were wrong.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's still a good pile over there.
Yeah, there's a good one. So, I'll start with the most recent one, which is how I figured this out.
Oh, hello.
This is a Die Krups. You want to say
I think it's like Krups.
Okay.
Krups. I think it's Krups.
Anyway, it's one of their most recent albums, which is called, I guess it is their most recent album, which is Metal Machine Music 5.
Ooh.
And this came out in 2017, 2015, one of the recent 20-teens. And I noticed from the copyright block, because I was searching for Wing Commander at the time, that it credits a song to Edel Wing Commander album, which is where it's licensed from. What it turns out happened is, as I said back when we started this, there were 3 songs on the album that are, quote, inspired by Wing Commander. I can't say if they actually are inspired by Wing Commander, but apparently legally
They are.
the record company is
Contractually obligated to be inspired.
There's a legal process by which these are inspired by Wing Commander.
Okay, that's weird.
So this includes, in the 2 CD version, it includes this, it's called The Vampire Strikes Back.
Okay.
And it's
inspired by Prophecy.
inspired by Wing Commander Prophecy.
Okay.
And this has a bonus CD that has that and an earlier version of it, both of which get credited back to Wing Commander Prophecy. So then I thought, okay, if that's the case, what about the other 2 songs that are inspired by Wing Commander? Were they ever released anywhere else? And the answer is sure. Boy, were they.
That was the most unexciting fake attempt you've ever made at that. even you were acting, so I was like, no. I have a question. Have you played all of these CDs?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I have ripped all my Wing Commander CDs, and I have a playlist, and it's great.
Liar!
Not lying.
There must be a part where you're like, oh, crap, we're deep in it now.
So the next one
oh, goodness.
is Project Pitchfork, another of these industrial groups. They had their song for Prophecy album was called Gravitation Zero. It reappears on their compilation album right here. And on an EP called Carnival, of which there are two different versions floating around. One has a bonus CD and the other doesn't. See, one has 7 tracks and one has 6. Or bonus track. So,
just so you know, the pile is not done.
So the final one. In fact, would you look up what it's called on the first one? It's Dasik. It's not.
Jesus, it's hit before
the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, no, which one?
The Dasik.
Dasik. The Awakening.
The Awakening. So it's called The Awakening. I searched for that. Nothing. What I eventually figured out, long story short, the song is called Die Kruger.
But
it definitely predates Wing Commander Prophecy, and it's in German, but this one's in English.
Okay.
So what I eventually untangled looking through the rights for all this was that they took their existing song, Die Kruger, or the Warrior, they totally replaced the lyrics with something related to Wing Commander, and renamed it The Awakening. It's the one that goes, The Awakening, The Awakening.
I don't remember. Of course, I remember that now. Yes.
So I figured, I saw they had all these albums with the original German version before Wing Commander Prophecy, and then I found out that they have also released it on 2 albums in English, the English version retitled The Warrior, but with the Wing Commander Prophecy lyrics.
Oh, whoa.
So we've got 2.
That's a deep cut.
We've got 2 Dasik albums with The Warrior, which is the same song as The Awakening renamed. And those are all the connections to the Wing Commander Prophecy soundtrack that doesn't really appear in the game much yet that we found so far.
When I think of The Warrior, I think of that song, I Am the Warrior. You know?
It's not that song.
That's unfortunate, I know. I know it's not that song. I was just stating that for the record. Just for the record. Whoa! Let's look at their hair again, okay? Let's just put that up for the record as well.
That is exactly what I would have expected that to look like.
Yep. That gentleman has a set of hair horns, I guess, for lack of a better word. Well, we'll keep this in military power this evening then.
We don't need to...
Although I might trip and fall and die over this gigantic stack.
Well, you want me to show the rest of the Wing Commander CDs?
No, I have... No.
We're actually going to see one later. It's going to be cool.
Of course. Of course.
So next up, let's take a look at the space news. Wing Leader! Howie Day's project has a name and a logo and a selfie!
Hey!
So, that's coming along. In fact, I saw on Twitter, I think yesterday, he's added some new VDU effects that make it look like a LCD is breaking, which I'm sure we'll have next week. But it's really cool. It's cool and good. I sound like Chris Farley in those old...
Does your vocabulary not work? Yeah, this looks awesome.
Yeah. And we have an update to the upgrade project. Defiance Industries has added 2 new ships for the MUP, which include the Kraken Planet Killer and the Hydra Cruiser.
Oh, tough SOB.
And the only other really exciting WC News update this week was this scan from an old magazine, which is a preview of Wing Commander 3, which calls the Karathi the Krellans, and makes all sorts of outrageous 90s remarks, which I thought was great, so check that out at the CIC.
All right.
Ready to go to the Tri-System?
Wow, we are. You were talking about no afterward, but I feel like we're not right. We
just spent half an hour talking about Cobalt 16.
But you know what? That's so what. Normally, this segment does not end until probably close to 59 minutes. You need to switch though with before we get to 30. Oh, we missed the window.
Well, hand me a Wing Commander game. I'll talk about it for another 20 minutes.
No, let's get to the Tri-System.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure tonight's book club will probably run a bit.
It's going to be a good book club.
It's going to be a very good book club, and I have a funny feeling we have a lot to go off of.
So here we are in the Tri-System. Oh, you're still small in the Tri-System.
Oh, no.
We had some camera... We actually had a camera repair before this that
it was...
Jason a little bit small.
It was... Ow, if you were fully mean, you just say small and slow, since my camera was slightly off, and it was very weird to look at. All right. Hey! Yeah. I was trying to think of a funny thing to go, and it just fell right apart.
Yeah, you totally failed at that.
I know. The Faldari. Like Benolini. Tell me about.
It does look like one of those.
It does look
noodles,
like a bow tie.
Yeah, bow tie. That's what I was searching for.
Rotini maybe, but don't quote me. Or the Fafel or whatever that one is.
Fafel. I know what you mean.
Yeah, the one that you don't. Yeah, you don't want to say it. Yeah, exactly. You're not sure how to say it, but you know the letters seem very easy.
You know they're not going to invite us on pasta talk after this. We did not know the.
Hey, all my mother's side is they're fully. There's 100% Italian blood there, so I'll be all right. You? Nah,
I was stuffed pasta man, so yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this morning. Facebook reminded me that. 6 years ago, this was when I was in Sicily, when I got that 10 days when I was sent there for that trip. So, hey, that's all I got. Is nothing other than that.
You went to Sicily one time, guys.
Yeah, paid by the 1st Division Museum.
This is the MLO.
Speaking of military operations, yes.
So this is the penultimate ML class civilian fighter from Privateer 2.
Okay.
This is a heavy fighter, costs 100,000 credits, and so what do we have next? Here's the in-game render of it. We'll be checking out in just a few minutes live. There's the VDU.
Move your monitor back to lean back to see it.
Now here's where things get a little bit confusing. This is the ship we're going to be talking about next week, which is the ML3A Faldari Mark II, which makes perfect sense in everything we know about Privateer 2's numbering system.
Sure.
That the 3A would be after the 03, and then there would be 3B and so on. So this is one that they got exactly right. They got the designations right on these two. But then the ML3B is the military heavy fighter that I can't see the connection at all.
No, I can't even. I'm trying to think of a military. No.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that this is, in the database, it's called both the Frage and the Duress, of which it is neither.
So, but if it was called like the Faldari 2, I could maybe understand it, because then it's, it's like the Thunderbolt and the Thunderbolt 2, what we call the A10 Warthog.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that, but yeah, no, you're right. It
seems totally disconnected.
It seems, yeah. And it's just weird, because it has why is that a refueling probe?
But the reason the Faldari sticks in my mind to this day is that the Wing Commander fan culture of the day, do you remember this? Back in the day, for whatever reason, it was like our version of the even number Star Treks are good and odd number ones are bad. It's not a Wing Commander game if it doesn't have a Drawlfy. Which is not true. Wing Commander 2 doesn't have a Drawlfy. Academy doesn't have a Drawlfy.
Yeah. It has a ship very close to, but yeah.
But it was like this fan thing. It's like, no, this is the Drawlfy from the Tri-System. I changed the letters a little bit.
Sort of barely remember this, but I feel it does seem kind of familiar. Yes.
So not a Drawlfy. That's a Drawlfy. It's not a Drawlfy. That's a Drawlfy.
I was kind of big in that when we were that age. I feel like I wasn't into a lot of the Privateer 2 pissing matches, so that was less.
Oh, so I got into all the pissing matches.
Of course you did, of course. But I feel like I didn't get my. I got Privateer 2 with Deluxe, so I feel like it was a little bit later.
It was the next year, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
People would learn to stop talking to me by then.
Yeah, I think so. Well, clearly, as I sit here.
The other ship that it's not is more interesting, which is the Tiger Shark.
I just love that. A ship that is better, it's better than it. Great ship. I like the Tiger Shark.
So the reason why I have a Tiger Shark here, though, is that the Faldari was originally... We've talked about how all the names changed at various points, and we've reconstructed some of them. It was originally called the Tiger Shark 2-word. And if you look at some of these screenshots, I think we have one. Yeah, if you look at this here, the current ship is a Tiger Shark. The person owns a Faldari.
Okay.
This is a pre-release shot from Privateer 2. And if you look through the database entries, you actually find 2 references to the Tiger Shark. One, which is a news story. It's one of the CCM booth, like, there's a disaster on this planet, you have to bring them wool or whatever. Not wool, but organs or something. Where it mentions that there's been the crash of a prototype Tiger Shark X Turbo Mark III.
Okay.
Which would make sense, because there's a 1 and the 2 that you can buy, and then there's the 3 that would be something else.
Sure.
And the second is Melissa Banks's bio, which mentions that she flies the, quote, Tiger Shark heavy cruiser, the Fatale. Fatal with an E. And then when you actually encounter her in game, she's flying a Faldari.
Hey,
Faldari.
Hey, Faldari. For Michael Corleone.
There's the render from the game, from the hint book, which was a different render. It doesn't appear anywhere else. I figured I'd throw that in. So, the Faldari, we talked about 100,000 credits. This is a very good ship by the numbers. It's cheap for a heavy fighter. It's relatively quick, 360 kps. Its maneuverability is fantastic, 80 DPS all around. Heavy shields, heavy armor, 5 guns, 6 missiles, 5 components. It's a good.
You've got me listening.
It's a good ship.
Yeah. We haven't had a lot of those in this before, where you're emphatically stating that this is a good ship.
It's a good ship. Yeah, by the numbers, we'll see, because we'll fly in a moment. But
it is a good ship. The only thing I don't like about it is that the cockpit is literally in the worst possible position. You can't see anywhere but straight ahead. It's blinders.
I would love to actually have that simulated in the game, though. I wish you could do that.
I feel like you would enjoy the fighter for a very short amount of time, because you need all that turning, because otherwise you're dead.
Well, it's like the Phantom from Wing Commander Armada. It has the worst cockpit in the world. It is unflyable, but it is imprinted on my mind forever because of that. Whereas the Privateer 2 ships, we have to have an 18-week
It's been a long time since we talked about the Phantom. It was like I felt my it was like goosebumps. I was like, no!
It's like that. Oh, somebody just kicked me in the
Yes. Yeah. It's been a while since we've So
5 Stream Laser Mark IIs on the default version.
Okay.
heavy missiles in general, and it is one of the only civilian ships that has torpedoes assigned to it. So snipes at 1, brutes at 3, brute 2's at 3, pythons at 5, disruptors at 7, stingray torpedo at 9,
Okay.
and a hellraiser torpedo at 10. So if you go up against one of these guys at skill level 10, it is very well armed. Wow. And then the usual decoy Mark II, high-X mine, and signal filter are the pre-installed components. Oh, and a BSE. Now, here's your favorite part.
It will never stop being it. But what's going to be really annoying is one time one of these groups, this alphanumeric group, is actually going to work, and we're going to turn it into something. It's not going to be today, I can tell you that. Probably won't be next week, or the week after. But maybe one day we'll go through every entry and find one. Hit me.
So lore-wise, we know that it entered service at least 4 years before Privateer 2 starts.
Okay.
And this is our first one. Actually, we have only one image from the CCN database, so it's the same image for both. But this is F902 466J.
Not a good one.
Private vessel, licensed to travel anywhere within Confederation non-restricted service, 4 years service.
Okay.
And the other one, same image, I-552 235G. And would you like to know more about it?
Yes.
You can't. All information classified.
Is there a freedom of information in the TRI system?
50. You can't get it for like 50 years.
Son of a bitch.
It's
It's not a... I mean, that color scheme's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of extremely underwhelming. I feel like the engine thrust actually is what makes it pop.
I kind of like it actually. It's different. It's got kind of a 50s
subdued.
Chrome style to
Yeah,
it.
it's very subdued. It's just weird.
Anyway, our one NPC wingman is Larissa Duval, who is a totally average wingman. She's not a member of the development team. They were not able to identify her when we went through that. So totally ordinary wingman.
But her quote is, "On guard, maggot filth," which is weird.
In fact, the other thing I very specifically do remember about her is that her bio uses the word bitch, which seemed extreme in 1996.
I could see that. When I think of all I think of the On Guard is we did the Star Trek we just watched with Sulu.
Oh yeah, we just watched Naked Time, in case anyone wondering what we do before the show.
In the green room.
The green room, yeah.
The green room. Oh.
All right, now, yep.
What do we got?
So this appears in just 3 missions.
Okay.
The first of which is not this one. There's no picture for it, but the mission is called Fat Tunes.
That is
Inc.
a super. That is the 90th thing I've seen. Right when you had the PH.
Yeah, fat with a PH.
PH in the 90s was the deal.
And that is one of those comedy missions where the record label has hired you to shoot down an evil band, and the band is protected by 4 mercenaries flying Eldari.
Hey, Faldari, when your moon hits the eye. Yeah.
And then the other 2 uses of the Eldari are
She's cute at least, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just a teenager.
Well, she's an adult now, so it adds out. Oh.
No. The mission is specifically about you being creeped out by the fact that the teenager obsessed with you.
Oh, well, that's disturbing in more ways than one now.
That's Louisa Phillips, who is the little girl
who's an adult now. No, she's not even born yet.
You get an SOS mission from her, and you go and save her. She's like the daughter of a senator or something, or a rich guy.
Of course she is.
And you save her, and then there's a bunch of cutscenes where she's like following you around because she's obsessed with Lev Aris, and you're creeped out by it. And she flies a Faldari.
Grayson Burroughs was asking, "Where were you when I needed you?" All right, Grayson. I don't know if he'd be creeped out. He's a weird guy.
But more closer to Lev's own age, Melissa Banks, which we already talked about because it appears in her bio, but she flies a Faldari. In both of the missions, you can fly with her. So, Faldari.
And Michael Corleone.
And I am just going to turn off our slideshow, and let's load up a Faldari of our own. Somewhere.
Take the Faldari. Leave the gun.
Just leave the stream laser or something. It's just, you're a Privateer 2 specific gun. Leave the pad.
Leave the leave the Craven.
Leave the Craven. Okay.
Leave the Craven. Take the cannoli.
Yeah. Take the Feldari.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Leave the Craven. Take the Feldari. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think the cannoli still works. The Craven.
But then we're down to the Feldari. We're looking at the Feldari.
Well, I can only do
the point of.
Leave the cannoli. Take the Feldari. I mean, we can reverse it. You know. All right. Sound check. 1, 2, 3.
Checking that. Oh, we are.
We're in space, and you're just messing around. Oh, you're getting shot at. Nice way to start the space segment. Look at you. Look at all those stream lasers.
A lot of stream lasers.
Yeah.
Making short work of this. Whatever that was.
It's nice to actually be in this at this point finally, since a lot of the ships we've covered already, to be polite, absolutely suck.
Ooh.
Oh my god! Wait, did I say suck and you died?
Yes.
Wow, that was
good.
not even
I'm
one jump. Yeah, you gotta give that another one.
You gotta get to the externals at least.
You gotta get, yeah.
We got some time.
Yeah. We're at. Yeah, this is one of those shows where we don't have an afterburner, but we're actually gonna afterburn the whole time instead.
So here is.
Yeah, show her off.
There we go. Underside.
Not bad. I mean,
let me try to get.
I don't mind the blue. I wish it needs another color though to pop. We need like some yellow or that burnt orange they like to throw in there. I mean, the cockpit good.
Which is interesting. I noticed that in the picture from the guide, that version is blue and yellow, so it has the yellow stripe.
Oh,
it's been cut off. It's been removed from the final game.
Yeah, well, there's 2 very small yellow stripes right by the cockpit, but it's nothing what I would consider major. Yeah, oh, you got two friends. You got 2 friends.
With my sound, there we go.
Well, nobody's said anything, so I'm assuming our sound is good. We're in sync there. You would tell us, right, guys?
Destination selected.
Okay, that's 1 jump.
I'll say I don't even remember where we were supposed to be going from at this point. We've so confused our timelines.
2. One thing that makes me excited about this show is that we're really teaching children to count. Although we lose count every time.
You know what I was always weirded out by? Why does the count kind of ICBM?
Impact.
Because that's straight up, right? What he's got there.
Are you thinking of the evil cult from Planet of the Apes?
No, I'm thinking
because that's different from the count.
No, I'm thinking of the one from Sesame Street, where he clearly had an ICBM in his house, and he's always trying to count. Which I feel like is kind of scary for kids of the 80s.
I certainly remember the existence of the count, but I don't.
You don't remember? He has a rocket right behind him.
I don't remember.
That's why he's counting. He's counting down.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna watch some Sesame Street on YouTube later.
Yeah. Well, after the show, we'll go back into the green room where we have our contractually obligated something dumb we can have. Like anything?
Most of what I do is dumb.
Well, I'm just trying to think of the things we would do dumb, and it's like, wait a minute.
We do though.
We do like everything.
Get ready to tell them about the thing we're starting next week.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Listen, we've already lost count of jumps. It's like 4 or 5.
I think we're 7.
Bullshit, you're not 7!
Yeah, there's a jump.
I don't believe
that
for a goddamn
we're 8
second.
now.
You're full of crap. Yeah,
9.
Anyways. Oh, no, I feel like we should say that for, like, privateer, you're in the Ferris doing nothing fun. That's like Killer Town. That's like
yeah.
That's like. We'll remember that.
Oh,
that was a good run.
Yeah, that was a good run.
That was a good run.
Like 37 jumps, I think.
But yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about. No, but yes, he has. I can't believe you didn't know. It's a goddamn rocket behind him.
I don't remember.
I figured like anything now would be something you would have noticed.
Yeah, that's why I think the same thing. I feel like I should have.
What do you think the thing is always blowing steam behind him?
I don't remember where the count is at all.
He's in a castle.
If anything, okay, I can see the castle.
He's in a castle, and behind him, it's the same color though as everything else. So I could see why maybe you might miss it. Well, we're
gonna check this out later. If there's anybody who wants to confirm or more likely deconfirm this.
Yeah. I was gonna say I have to get up early tomorrow to go downtown, but I have a funny feeling to be here late confirming or not whether the goddamn count is an ICBM.
Here's our ship page. Look, we're almost to the end.
Yeah, right. You said that.
You ready to sing? Yeah. Figure out where my window with my song went.
It's over there. No, it's over there.
There it is.
All right.
All right, you ready for this thing?
That was actually a good one. You hear that?
Yeah.
Usually it sucks.
We'll put that on the back of the DVD box. Oh, Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships. Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships. Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships. Early in the morning. Nimble dresses fly for everybody. Nimble dresses fly for everybody. Nimble dresses fly for everybody. Early in the morning. Heretics right there on the box, boys. Heretics right there on the box, boys. Heretics right there on the box, boys. Early in the morning.
Fucks this up.
The Faldari is not a Drolthy.
The Faldari is not a Drolthy. The Faldari is not a Drolthy. Early in the morning.
One of the great things about this segment is that at the end, when we're done singing, I just realized this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life, and it's just gonna get worse. But, by the way, we talked to Chris Reed, and he's going to be here for the last one.
That's right.
We're all going to sing it together.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Reed will be here with us, and he will understand that when you put all this together, this is really long. Like, I'm kind of nervous at how long it's going to be in the end.
Anyway, here's what we deserve. This thing is beautiful. I want this in a t-shirt when it's done.
You got to put something in the other two boxes. Probably our heads being like...
Yes, cartoons, yes. That'll be our first piece of merch.
Like, our heads hung in shame. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. That's better than the other idea. Well, that's pretty close to the other idea we came up with.
So next week we will be talking, and probably much more quickly, about the Faldari Mark II. So
hey!
All the terrible accents... times 2.
I tried to add it in there at the end, but Drowthy.
Oh no, I heard that.
All right, good.
I definitely heard that.
Well, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, all right, he went with the tongue twister. So this is going to be interesting.
All right, do you want to go to Privateer gameplay, or do you want to go to the cargo bay? Your call.
We should let's cargo bay. Let's split the privateers up, because otherwise it'll be weird to go from both. Yeah.
All right, let's hit the cargo bay.
And yes, to answer your question, on the birthday stream extravaganza, we will do the full
song.
The full song.
All 18 stanzas.
18.
Uncensored and raw.
Oh my! There will probably be a few swears in there about
swears. Are you a 5th grader?
Yeah.
Oh no! Chris Reed did a swear.
Oh, son of a bitches!
Here's the cargo bay.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh! Oh! It's because I turned it off to fix your camera.
I'm floating in space.
There we go.
We're back.
All right. I'm really excited about this.
That's why I want to do this too, because I knew you had something good.
I do, but I'm going to start with something regular first. So if
it's a CD, then you should just throw it down the hallway.
It's not a music CD, if that helps.
Okay. Well,
this one's very simple.
Okay, it looks simple.
There you go. That is one of several CDs that Creative Labs released that included Wing Commander. These would be included in CD-ROM upgrade kits, sound cards, and so on. And one thing I've been working on recently is coming up with the full history of that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's not a backstock of unsold Creative Labs Sound Blaster kits, and nobody saved that stuff. So it's hard to find the actual kits. But we're at least tracking down all the different versions of that CD and the others that were put out. And that specific version is a European, UK packaging. So that's why it might look different from the version of that you've seen before. All right, number 2 is something that I personally have been trying to get for many years, but probably won't be that exciting to anybody. It's in a tube, and I'm not going to untubulate it because it's sealed, but I do have a picture here.
This is a giant blunt we're going to smoke. And it's sealed from California.
So here's the picture of it.
Here's what I can show you of it.
You're right.
I can show you there. And you can see it! There it is.
And what this is a company called Scorpio Posters. Scorpio Posters put out these 2 Teen Heartthrob Wing Commander posters. In fact, we saw some weeks ago the Matthew Lillard Maniac one.
Oh, that's right.
And this is the Freddie Prinze one, which is even harder to find. One finally popped up on eBay. I'm going to get both of them framed, so they'll be in the background in some future episode. But it's basically just a picture of Freddie Prinze Jr. with his Blair emblem on the side, the corner. The Maniac says the Maniac nose art. And that is just amazing and wonderful. That is the kind of Wing Commander trash I love. Along with that original movie logo that they did all the merchandising, it's great.
I like how whatever they're holding the poster down with is like playing cards of some kind in each corner.
Yeah, that was from the eBay auction.
No, I know, that's what just makes it funny.
All right, now this is very large, and I've
it
already taken it
is.
apart so we don't have to fiddle with it. And
Fiddle me
this
sticks.
one is tough. Just
Well, you should show the black side for the.
okay,
that was a surprise.
Oh.
Ready? So you do the big reveal.
Oh. This is the
Hold on.
German Wing Commander 3 Special Edition. I have wanted one of these for many years. I have never gotten... They're not the hardest thing to find in Europe, but they are a pain to get shipped to the U.S. This is one of 4 unique special editions released in Germany. There's a Wing Commander 4 Special Edition that comes with a dog tag. Wing Commander Prophecy that comes in a similarly large box with a... It has the mouse pad, and there's a Privateer 2 Deluxe. That's the Deluxe Edition Privateer 2 that's in a big wide box like that. That's my next target. It's not that hard to find, and it's easier than this one, so you'll see that in a future show, hopefully. Now, this is the German version of the Wing Commander 3 Premier Edition or the Sam's Club Edition, which we've talked about in the past, with some changes that are especially exciting for me. But I'll go through the contents here because everybody loves that. This is the 1995 calendar that comes with it. This is identical. In fact, if you look at the U.S. calendar, it's printed in English, French, and German for just that eventuality. But there are some differences too.
Yep,
Here we have...
We all know these. Should probably go to our action at what month? Where's July? Ooh, hey, Centerfold. Uh-oh. Out of all the things we could have for July, it's decisions.
Ah, the classiest scene that we don't regret at all. It should have been February for Valentine's Day.
Oh. That's...
So here is a PAL version of the making of VHS. So that they actually did do a PAL version of it, which is cool. Other versions, like the US Sample Club one, just doesn't include the VHS. Possibly the best thing about this edition is, you remember the black shirt with the giant plastic thing on the back?
You mean your Kevlar vest
Yes.
that you wear outside when you go into the mean streets?
So the Germans actually get a much nicer version that's gray with a much less giant plastic thing on the front.
The printing seems...
Much better.
The printing is... Yeah, it's quite good. It's not so much a plastic blasted on top as much as it's like a...
It's like an actual printed t-shirt.
Like a paint or dye, placed into the fabric.
You couldn't stop a bullet like the...
No, the other one could most certainly stop a 22
And
caliber
then check
round.
out the sleeve there. It's got the logo on the sleeve. That's like a classy thing. Americans didn't figure that out for years.
Oh no, the shirt I'm wearing right now has a thing on
Oh,
the sleeve.
nice.
Oh, hey, look at me.
You get the European style.
Look
So,
at, like,
yeah, Wing Commander 3 logo. You know, cool representation. So. There's that.
yes.
Of course, there's the tin, just like the U.S. versions, and it's called the Premier Edition on the tin rather than the Special Edition.
Okay.
And that's got all the usual innards. Well, first of all, here's what the European making of CD looks like. Different artwork. This is a difference of the European versions in general. Rather than individual jewel cases, it comes with a cardboard digipack style thing.
Okay, nice. This reminds me of like a fancier one. Like Wing Commander 3 just had that floppy sleeve thing they gave us.
Well, that was 4. 4 had the floppy sleeve.
Oh, sorry, 4. Yeah.
3 had individual jewel cases.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. No, I meant 4 is with the floppy. Floppy one.
Also note that the German, the version of the Warbirds poster, not in color. So it's German translated, but it's black and white.
They lost out on that.
Yeah, Germany. That's kind of the amazing treasure of the U.S. version.
Yeah, it is beautiful. That is definitely beautiful.
So here's the victory streak and all the usual manuals.
Okay.
And then here is the poster. Now the U.S. one comes with a folded poster, as does the German one. But actually, this is the other poster. Sorry, this is the advertising poster. They used to. It's part of the Intel campaign we've talked about in the past.
And on the back we have a lot of games we probably know and love, and some that you're like, I have no idea what the hell that is.
But the reason that I was especially excited about trying to find this edition recently is because you probably noticed I have a bit of a thing about collecting Wing Commander music CDs.
Never noticed.
And this is the
Never noticed.
The Origin Audio CD Volume 3 came with the premiere edition in the U.S.
Okay.
And I happened to notice, looking at photos of auctions and things online, it's a different pressing for the European one. You can see it has a European EA code at the bottom. So it's a different version of the album. And I was like, I need to have that for my Wing Commander music collection.
Oh my god.
So now I do. And we'll rip that. It's almost certainly going to be exactly the same as the other one.
I'm just trying to make sure we have space over here for all the stuff.
Oh, yeah. I can just put it back over here also.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think so. We never usually go back. You can't take stuff out of the back of the cargo bay. That's not how the cargo bay works.
So that was our cargo bay.
Here. I have these for you.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the box over here. I just wasn't sure how much was coming afterwards.
Nope, that's it. We're
good. All right. Back in the Gemini game.
So that was a good week for me. I'm really happy
that
with
was
mine.
a great grab.
All right, let's go back to the Gemini sector.
Where I shall now break out the Privateer Playtester's Guide.
Nice. That is
this evening. Yes, because let's. I'm gonna conduct a bit of on-site research here.
Now, if you're just joining us, last time we started Roman Lynch's missions, and we bought a galaxy.
Yeah.
Now what we want to do is a little bit of exploring. We want to earn some money for that final Centurion upgrade. Although the galaxy is actually a big improvement to the Orion for flying missions.
Huge.
Where are we? I forget where we ended this thing.
Are we in like Madrigal or something?
Raquel.
No, Raquel.
Okay. Siva. Oh, I guess we did we finished a delivery for...
Yeah, we finished and then we stopped because, we wanted to do that.
Right.
Yeah, that's right, yep.
Okay. I could disrupt a retro convoy. That sounds like a thing I could do.
Well, where is the Elden
Retro
System
Forces in
okay.
5. The Bounty. New Detroit base.
Your refinery. Garbage for...
Nev 2. I don't know if there's 3 do something in Raquel missions.
Alright, I'll say do those. And
that's a good... that's my start. No ships... I hope we had things in working order when we left.
I think so. I don't recall anything...
Nope.
Oh, no, that's right, because there was no ship dealer on that one. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Alright. Well, you have nothing terrible going on. I mean, it's just like crap. You only have 2 inmates, which is slightly
No, that is
Your destruction is the will of God.
Now entering
Oh
an
no,
automatic
we're entering an
landing
automatic
zone.
landing zone. Why are there like 5 retros?
Well, we start this mission off. We start this evening off. Sometimes
No.
I'm
Not a good start.
Do we have all of the faction script from Privateer up somewhere on the CIC?
If they're not on the CIC, then they're on Wedge's site, wedge09.net.
Oh yeah, Wedge's site will have. He has the breakdown of all those. Yeah, of the different comms they might use. But does he just have the does he have the missions or the comms too? Like all the pirates, all the retros. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I can actually.
But if not, we can get them. That'll be good. That would be a fun thing to look at, actually.
Yeah, somebody just ask in chat if there was faction dialogues, which I will hear.
Maybe I should do some shipping. What's a good place to take food?
That's well, someplace that needs it. I believe your best bet for food is going to be a mining base, but let me just double check to see it's the most profitable one. Why am I flipping right past that?
Generic foods for 14 is a good price. Luxury foods for.
All right, let's see what are you on now?
I'm on a
agricultural
planet,
yeah. Yeah, so food is never. It's funny. Food is never what's considered a super profitable run by it.
Does a mining base want liquor?
Just a mining base.
Oh, let us know about the sound, guys.
Yeah.
If it's all right.
A mining base does want liquor. What are you looking at? 37?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go back to this.
That's a good point, because liquor at all.
37, agricultural, and you want to go where?
Mining base.
Mining base. Oh shit, yeah, buy that.
Okay.
Because your minimum is 50.
Alright, so I'm going to find a mining base instead of flying a mission this time.
Alright.
Unless, maybe there's a cargo.
Yeah, see if there's a good cargo. Maybe taking you out there.
Load of artwork to Magdalene. It's Padre.
That's not bad, though. But you're close. Because you're in Reichel.
Yeah.
You're not. How many jumps away is that? Look. Let me look. That does. I feel because they're both in Clark, so you're pretty close.
Well, I'll take it. Can't hurt. Second star was a load of artwork. Take it. Oh, maybe let me check the Merchants Guild. They may have missions. I'm already kind of locked in.
Reichel, where is the one you're going to? Midgard?
I can't remember. Is Magdalene in the Padre system, right?
Magdalene and Padre.
Look, here's a second Magdalene and the Padre. I'm going to Magdalene and the Padre.
Yeah. So and here's what's right. Here's what's perfect. So that's the one north of 119.
Maintain speed and course for contraband
Humble.
search.
So then you can do that. Run down to Pentaval, load up with drugs, and then run into New Detroit too on the way back.
Okay.
That's actually not a bad little run you got there.
Okay, so we went ahead to New Detroit. No.
You want to go?
Or 444 is.
Yeah, 44 p.m.
No contraband detected.
PM.
You may proceed.
Let me get those maps up. Yes. Yeah, you're gonna go. Yeah, 44, New Const, XXN. Or actually, New Const. You can go New Const to Junction. It's either one, I mean, the same number of jumps, either Junction or XXN. But yeah, if you do that, then you can jump down to Pentaval and load up on Brilliance and Ultimate and all that, and then go into New Detroit, dump it there, and then.
Will Pentonville want my food and my. Oh!
Pentonville, yes.
It made a bad mistake.
Pentonville will want your food, but let me double check to see what their return is. Or not? You mean your liquor, actually?
Liquor, I got liquor and food.
Okay,
This
because
thing is I filled up this galaxy. Basically.
so Pirate Base, you actually can get more money for the liquor there. It still starts at 50, but goes up to 65. Whereas mining, it's just 50 to 60.
Okay.
And then you got generic foods.
But generic, I've got luxury and I've got grain.
Okay, so pirate. Yep. Hit Pentonville.
Okay.
After you have to deliver your mission cargo though.
Let me know if you hit trouble in my
And then
quad.
after that, you can bump down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, everything's coming up in a nice little package. Except for these damn asteroids.
Yes. Yeah, the KM252 Nexus. That's actually one of the runs I figured out. That is on the northern end of the Gemini. It is very profitable to go through those systems. Yep. Because you can run through there. Because sometimes you can get better prices actually up there, which is kind of funny. And then you have to do, I think, one more jump along that run. So for that one jump, increase your profits. But not many people want to go that way.
Maintain speed and course for contraband search.
A lot of asteroids and other stuff going through that part of. Ferris is kind of the quadrant you try to avoid, but then you get sucked into when you find a patrol for like 4 nav points. That's 35,000 credits or something ridiculous. And you're like, I'm going to go do that, and you realize that you've made a horrible, horrible mistake. Because we've all been there before.
Absolutely. Preparing to transit to New Constantinople. Look, I'm going to head to the jump point at maximum speed just like you're not supposed to do.
Oh, I see you stole something from Mr. Kruger, huh?
Or is he now named as the Warrior?
Oh, I am.
Prepare to be searched. Maintain speed and course.
Alright, where do I want to go now? Okay, so I should go to Junction and then 19C. Okay.
No contraband detected. You may proceed.
Everything's just being dumb.
What's that?
I said this thing's just being dumb.
Oh.
Because I was like, that's not right. I just double checked and it's not. I don't know why it's being weird. Everything's fine, so I don't know what it's just being weird for whatever reason. It's our glitch for this mission.
Also, I got hit by lightning twice.
There you go. Well, that will do it. That will do it. That will do it. It's also nice to finally see you have some twin missile launchers, since, you know, the Orion, as we discussed, really is an underwhelmed. They made the compromises in the wrong way.
But you know what you really need to make twin missile launchers work?
Missiles?
Missiles!
Oh, you only had 2 left, that's right.
Yeah.
So, shoot, I forgot about that. Well, damn it. Yeah, that probably.
If I run into one Talon, I'll be okay.
One Talon in the Gemini sector, you'll be fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong. Yeah. No, you're fine. You'll be fine.
Fine, everything's fine. How are you?
That's right.
Who do we have in chat?
You're finished,
I see a lot of the familiar names from weeks past. Chatting away.
I always regret that that's the chance so I could chat with people about Wing Commander, and I'm not there.
But you are there. You're chatting whether you realize it or not. It's like a fancy situation, you know? I get to screen.
I didn't see you, and you're blind. Got it?
Line 7, you want to pick that one up. Hello, you're on the air. As we make our way.
They've got a dream to worry about.
That's what everybody wants, but nobody can afford, huh? Because who can these days?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'd love to have 2 Messin blasters against.
Yeah, it's very strange. You're making your way.
Oh, crap, those are red.
Die by the very
past
weapons you adore.
Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn.
Traitor to humanity.
I don't need you
feel
guys.
our wrath.
Yep. Yeah, they're not going to catch you at 750. They'll try. I feel like they're going to get... That's one of those...
Oh, look, they're giving up.
Yeah, they've given up.
Suckers.
That's interesting. Yep.
Sometimes they'll chase you, sometimes they won't.
Hey.
Dump your cargo before you blow, will ya?
The thing is, in order to get salvage, you have to shoot down ships that carry cargo, which are normally ones that you want to be friendly to. So,
yeah.
Mufasa said, "I wish Privateer 1 had more salvage to collect."
Yeah.
Because normally you get like 2 or maybe 2 if you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean you can fight Straymans, but it just feels bad to do it.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what he means. I wish there was more to do with the tractor beam for positive.
Yeah. Yeah, instead it gives you kind of oddly nefarious things, right? I mean, that's how you can tractor and injected pilots, and then sell them into slavery.
Choice.
Which is really a really odd moral compromise you're making. Yeah.
You're about to suck void, buddy.
Now entering an automatic landing.
Yeah, it'd be cool
zone.
to shoot down some pirates or something, get some drugs instead, or something worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, there's a ship dealer here, so I'm gonna repair my.
Yeah, because you're going into Pentonville where there's 100% not one.
Tungsten armor, and I'm going to get some more missiles. That's right. Let's see if there's anything going to Pentonville.
No, definitely not.
Gun pottery for 3,000. Jolson, Midgard. Anything I can get at a pleasure planet that they might want at the pirate.
I don't think they're maybe plaything.
Maybe plaything.
Don't even think that's right. I think this is pleasure planet. Basically, is useless in this regard.
Save my game.
Let's see. Pleasure has nothing.
Any news of local interest?
Wants. It's
Sorry,
just,
man,
it's
I don't
actually
have
wants
anything for you right
curious.
now. Except a good man.
To anybody across from agricultural to Perry.
By the way, the backgrounds in this, like the bottles, I love that art style. They use it in all the SVGA Origin Talking Head games, and I just love it. It's beautiful. Let's take a moment to recognize how absolutely beautiful the close-up backgrounds in these games are. Compare that to Wing Commander 2, where they're so much rougher. It's like people just experimenting with 3D. They look so good in these. It's like an art style all its own.
Privateer is certainly an art style all its own, yes. I would. So there's a question which I said, if there's one aspect of Privateer that we want to choose to improve, what would it be?
I think it would be a more balanced. Expand the faction system. So have more on the black market to do. Have more on the I'm a bounty hunter to do.
Create better silos for what each one will give. I agree.
There's fun stuff to do as a pirate, but there's not.
They're limited.
There's not a way to play the entire game as a pirate and have it be really fulfilling. So I would build out those other career tracks. You can see that's one of the things they figured out with Star Citizen. They have to focus on all these career tracks to make them interesting.
Certainly. I mean, I could see. If you imagine you could do the game as a straight privateer, as a merchant, as a pirate, as give him 4 major ones or something like that. Sure, you just got your ass.
Forget this meat happens. We got no problem.
What are we doing? We're not cheap here. We got plenty of money, man.
You're finished, flyboy.
They're retro. I mean, does anybody
dump your cargo before you blow, will ya?
Yeah, there is not. There's nothing.
Forget this meat happened. We got no problem.
So you should just run them.
I should have just run.
You should have just run here. Your chatty Cathy's a problem.
Yeah, I took too much damage. I will take the blame for that one.
Especially you just went to the ship deal like 2 units.
Yeah, I've already.
Yeah, we're trying to run drugs. I mean, come on. Not the best smuggler I've ever seen.
I never really played as a smuggler. I'm more
as long as you just gotta do it a high speed run, man. You just gotta run. Run. There's no need to fight, no need to talk, just afterburn everywhere. And this is one of those cases where, if you to get that extra burn speed, then you can drop the shooter.
Get ready for asteroids.
At least we're, it's just nice to be in like we talked to Orion is. They made the wrong compromises, unfortunately, with that one.
Yeah, I would have given it 3 guns, I think.
Yeah, no, I think we've agreed. Yeah, 3. I think you have to give it 3 guns, still the 2 missile launchers, but I guess no. If you give it 3 guns, I guess you can get away with just the 1, even though it seems ridiculous for it to have 1.
Or even, I would even do it with 4 guns. Make them close together so that it actually seems more effective in terms of guns than the Galaxy or than the Centurion.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then,
work.
what would you trade otherwise with engines and shields then to kind of take it down a peg too? Because I mean, I feel like if you put 4 guns.
I think your limit is the missile, so you have the single launcher.
Okay.
So it's a gunship.
Part of me wonders if it'll be too overpowered though, with that much armor and shields, like those engines. You know, like I feel like you have to take the shields down 1.
I think you leave that to the player, though. Let them decide how they want
right.
it. So, yeah, give it like an underpowered over here sort of a thing, but
that's the thing, yeah. When you, well, he's dead. That's all he knows, I guess. The thing is, you don't want them to be able to have, just unlimited gunfire if you have the max engines and stuff,
Yeah, well,
I feel like
but only if you choose to have your shields at like half.
Okay, I guess so. Yeah, I just feel like you should just. It needs like either like engines brought down 1 or shields brought. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's good. Sounds good.
Oh, there you go. You made a good chunk off that.
Yeah.
All right. But see what they got for the legal.
Right.
Let's see.
Tobacco.
All right. Let me see. 98, 954.
Where are you thinking we're going to sell this Ultimate anyway?
I would go just New Detroit.
New Detroit?
I'd say, yeah. All right, so you got Ultimate. What's it going for?
954.
954. Okay, it starts at New Detroit, 1,000 to 1125.
Okay, so it's a good price.
It's good, yeah.
Okay, and
98.
Tobacco 98.
Yeah, 100 to 150.
It's a good one.
So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, not here. 183.
Brilliance 23.
Yes. It goes for starting at 200.
Okay, so we got.
Yes. No, those are all for New Detroit runs. We're gonna go right back into it. We'll do a nice run. Make actually, let's. Oh, you know what's silly? Oh, you know what's silly? The credit counter.
Oh, I forgot to turn the credit counter on.
Yeah,
right.
I was going to say we should see how much this makes us in drugs.
You know what? I'll turn it back on after this. I totally forgot.
I didn't even realize till right now. Where I was like, we should see how much money we just spent on this and how much profit we'll make doing this run, and then we both forgot. So it's all right. Sometimes it slips our brains, like everything. Yes, so this is New Detroit is basically your best run. All right, thank you. He said we're at 110,000 roughly.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it. I know you had the job issue, so I didn't even think twice. This is what happens when you don't like watch.
Yeah, pre-warning. Normally we have a little joke in the credits and it changes each week. We were having a horrible problem with our credits render.
Oh, you weren't able to?
I never was.
Oh, no.
So, we do have a new Clyde, but we couldn't change the actual text this time.
Yeah, you were
something weird about my server here, so I've got to take things apart.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, because I know my Java asked to update this morning, so I didn't know if it was something silly like that.
Well, that sounds like every Java always thing.
That's true.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to show this when we were doing the cargo bay.
I was wondering what the hell. I saw those notes. What the hell those were? I didn't know what they were.
So, that Wing Commander 3 also had some German player's handwritten notes about stuff in the game, and it's pages and pages and pages of like detailed notes. So we're
but then some scary looking scientific stuff on the back. Did you have the order of one or not? I don't even think I was not even close.
So we will scan those and put them online. One of our German friends can probably tell us what they are.
So yeah,
exactly.
these are here's Orsini. He's got the Orsini. He's got the Orsini system. It looks like it's mapping out nav points. Yes, it's mapping out. It's mapping out nav points, and then each mission he says he did it with Hobbs, Cobra, Vagabond, Flint, and he's detailed what each nav point's waves are.
Nice.
First,
man after my own heart.
Let's see, Loconda, Black Mane. You're going to have to go through these and make sure they're in right order. Oh, they're kind of in order.
Yeah, Loconda, Black Mane.
Torgo, Loki. Oh, we get some red ink though here. I don't know what that means.
Now, speaking of the Orsini system, how's that for a segue? We will be on August 17th. We're going to have a very special long episode in honor of Wing Commander Information Center's birthday. And we're going to have the actual birthday party with trivia and prizes live streamed. We're going to do a special
right here in the AWC studios.
From right here in the studio. We're going to do a special show. We don't have the last Privateer 2 sing bit. We have all sorts of cool stuff to show off. We're going to start our community playthrough of Wing Commander 3. Yes. And the reason I mention that now is because the first day will be the Orsini system. And a major part of that is that we will have a book club to go along with it, which is the Wing Commander 3 Heart of the Tiger book club.
Maintain speed and
so if you want to join the next book club, start reading now. It's going to be the first 4 chapters of Heart of the Tiger. I have just made an enemy of a paradigm I have to fly through. So this is emerging gameplay, the Confed blockade around the planet I'm going to. And, you know, it looks like nothing today, but what a cool feeling rocketing past a hulking destroyer in orbit of a planet.
This was a huge deal, yeah. This is the biggest thing in the world, yes. This is
still a thrill. Oh, you know what we have to check out while we're at these special planets? The names. New Detroit Industrial Base.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right. Interesting stuff.
So this gentleman not only has detailed he's made his own strategy guide and missions and waves. He then has documented all of the conversations and all conversation choices. And he's done it also by disc, so it's separate from the missions. They're completely independent here, and he's made all the decisions.
Almost 1,200 for that.
Oh, you got max that sons of bitch.
Yeah, that was.
107. There you go.
Yeah.
200. That's not bad.
Okay. All right.
All right. So you made 14,000 credits on that one. That's
not
bad.
All right. I'm going to save that again. Let me fiddle with the credit dealie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That guy was definitely into that.
We will return to Privateer in just a moment.
There you go.
Run the Privateer credits application that our producer has made for us. And by the way, our producer Trillian is off tonight, so we're not going to remember anything we do wrong this time.
I'm trying to put some of the notes into our AWC chat. But.
Now here, if I go to the credit meter, there we go. And I just need to...
Oh, no. I see that I put... it's annoying. You're right. I was going to put a note down for something, and all I put is the word producer, and I don't remember what I was typing 23 minutes ago.
All right. Good job.
Damn it.
Okay, there's our credit meter.
Damn it. There we go.
If you would like your own Privateer credit meter for your streams, we can probably make that happen.
Yes.
What's a guy do for fun around here?
Drink some
That's true,
beer.
yeah. You can do the trick of, takeoff and landing in order to make sure that your cargo hold is completely filled because you typically don't get the...
Yeah.
Maybe Pentonville. I feel like Pentonville especially...
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, Pentonville, also, the prices aren't the best because it's so close. And it's whereas if you go to KM252 and up into Ferris, you get more because you're going deeper into kind of crappier space. Mm-hmm. Because that's one of those. That's definitely one of the things there. I remember I had a thought there. I typed producer and I was going to write something down. I don't remember what it was. Ay.
All right, let me check the guilds. Maybe there's a mercenary mission.
Yeah, let's see if we can go something different for you. Shake things up. See if you can go something. See if you can go someplace different for yourself.
Kilrathi. No. You know what, though? Here's a patrol of the new Detroit Citizen for 17,000.
Okay, twist my damn arm. I mean, it's 8 points, but whatever.
But you know what I also saw was we could probably take on a Kilrathi for 12,000.
Yeah.
And it's a patrol, so we don't actually have to kill them.
That's true, but
But I also saw down here...
Oh, you get 3?
Yeah, there's a third one. Yeah.
7,000. Oh, there you go. This is about
3, the same patrol.
There you go. That's gonna be a good. That's a good like.
It's gonna be a nice chunk of money.
Yeah, it's gonna be close to what, over 35, something like that.
There, yeah.
So we're at 124 right now. Making the way. Well, we're not.
Why do you always sing the Cheers theme song?
I don't know. Because it's just making the way through Gemini. It just feels right. Because everybody knows your name in Gemini.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? So yeah. So as he conducts his patrol, what we have decided to conduct our next cinematic experience on. And it's rather complicated because we've created.
There's a whole rule system.
There's a rules and a voting system and a ceremony system, and there's a lot that goes involved in this. And why this requires so much depth is that we are going to explore the filmography of one Thomas Jeffrey Hanks. And you're asking, why the hell is there a voting system? Well,
sometimes you don't want to see a particular Tom Hanks.
Yeah, there are some Tom Hanks movies that, well,
we've all seen Forrest Gump a lot.
Yeah, which is but then we also said you have to watch it though. But because of that, and because of the great debate that may arise, we have started to craft a system of voting with the three of us that will require a simple majority, obviously. But then, in order to a film to be watched, it will then require the taking of shots, a small speech about how the circle is perfect, and some other things that we haven't really figured out yet because we were really on a roll the other day about this.
Yes, and by we mean us and Allie.
Yes, Allie. She's actually the one who came up with the shot system.
If anybody else is in Rockville, Maryland on Tuesday nights, join us for Thanksgiving.
That's right. I didn't click that the other day when you said you were cleaning this. I thought you had I thought it was like an autocorrect thing, and I was like, I just ignored it and didn't think about this at all. Because
I get that a lot.
But Thanksgiving is that's a one day. This is like a lot of days.
A lot of days.
You can't have a holiday every week. That cheapens it. That doesn't.
Oh, you seen Twitter? It's like, it's National Grow a Dog Day.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, but at least those are different.
I don't know what's chasing me even. I just ran right by it. Why engage when you don't have to?
Do you still have drug? Oh no, you're just doing patrols. That's why.
I picked up whatever the patrol enemy was.
Heathen, taste the purifying fire of
let's report back once we've established.
Nope, that was a bad idea. Luckily, I saved.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah,
That one.
So you get to find all that armor.
Let's try that again, but good.
You just dropped down like a civvy at Mars.
I'm gonna go the other way this time. There's this Kilrathi.
Do we have a micro center right around the corner?
We do.
Oh, I've never been. Somebody said it must be nice. Micro center right around the corner.
Yeah, it's right down the street, actually. A couple miles from here.
Oh, cut right down the street, a couple miles from here.
It's 2 miles from here, maybe? But it's straight down Rockville Pike.
Which way, north or south?
Towards DC.
Oh, really? I've apparently driven by it multiple times. I never noticed.
It's the shopping center with Chewy's, and there's actually I was gonna send you there because there's a hobby store that sells aircraft.
Like is that one? I know. I looked at that Rockwell one. I don't think it sells the Hobby Master ones.
Oh, okay.
I think I looked. Those things are a giant pain in the ass. It's like they're really great, but they are gigantic. Like I'm like, because all I want really, I mean, my dream would be to have a 1942 carrier group from the Japanese and Americans, and then like a 1944-45 carrier group. But I also don't think I have the ability to do that because they're such a pain in the ass to find sometimes. Even on the eBay. I mean, there's entire websites devoted to cataloging all the different models they have. I'm talking about Hobby Master, which is a company I believe out of England that produces these high quality, very detailed aircraft models. They have like 172s, 132s, and I forget what the other one is, but I have a 172 Hellcat that I want to have some friends for, but they're a giant pain in the ass. They're very small runs, and after they sell out, they tend to go through the roof.
See, I love stuff like that, but I always have to come up with some excuse. That's why I have like the Wing Commander ones, the aircraft that were used to make the.
Oh, certainly. Well, those are actually bigger. So those are like I think 132nd, right?
Yes, those are the bomber's 172 and the fighter is 148 maybe.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because they have those. Yeah, and they have those for Hobby Master. Save like the 148s are like $400 a piece, whereas the 172 I think are roughly they're usually like $70 to $90 a piece. But then there's some you see that are like $400 because it's like. But they're extremely well detailed. They have multiple versions. It's awesome.
I remember, of course, being a kid who loved World War II aircraft, and you would get anything you could find, and you go to like the dollar store, and there'd be like a Dayglow Stuka, a Spitfire that's orange, and that you may do with that. And I go to toy stores now, and there's like, oh, it's a fully G.I. Joe scaled Messerschmitt that you can sit the guy in, and it's as big as.
They
crazy what kids today have.
Where we had you had the metal Stuka that the cockpit always fell right out.
Yes, I had that one.
Everybody had that, of course. Yeah, and it's that, and you had what is it? Like it's the Desert Camo ME-109.
Yeah, I had that one.
Yeah, and then what else did I think I had a P-24, P-17. I don't know if I had many American aircraft though. I think it was just those bombers, but yeah.
You'd sometimes find, like, I remember finding, like, a nice P-47 at, like, a grocery store once. But I had a whole Air Force.
Yeah, I had a good-sized Air Force. Definitely that Stuka, though. God, I remember. I remember, because you try to, like, keep the cockpit, and you keep it for a while, and then you just lose it, and you're like, well, whatever, who cares?
I actually have one of those around somewhere.
Yeah, it's like that. It's not like the black one, but it's in between black and, like, green.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Hobby Master ones are real. Thankfully, there's like websites that track all the different models they release, but it's like I don't know if there's like some weird dude who's collecting all of them. He probably has also a bunch of float stones. I don't know if he's one of those dudes.
When you were a kid and you had toy military hardware, did you have a whole fake nation?
Like in terms of like a composite. No, I mean I don't necessarily think. I don't think I was able to think that complexly. To be honest,
like my friends and I had this whole system worked out where each house was a different planet, and you had your own nation, and you figured out what its government was, and you had a military to defend it. And you would go to war with each other.
Oh, sure.
Mine was called Benland.
Oh no, we did not. We didn't. We had one of my friends lives on a lake. Well, his parents still live on a lake. And there was like a stream that ran by his house, and you would take like chunks of wood and then claim them to be your fleet, and you'd find a giant rock and throw them at it, and claim those to be your attacks and things of that nature. And silly stuff like that. But we did not create our governments were probably beyond our comprehension. I feel like that was.
And we would have like a space war by making starships to fight each other out of cardboard.
Okay.
You take two paper plates, put them opposite each other, and it's the saucer section for a starship.
Sure.
And you just a paper towel tube can be the engineering deck. You roll up paper to be the nacelles. Yeah, and then micro machines really changed everything because you started building like carriers that would carry a whole bunch of micro machines.
Well, I grew up with I didn't grow up with a kid. When I was a child, before I moved to what I consider my hometown, we lived in this town called Exeter. And I remember the kid next door had
where the destroyers come from.
Yes, where the destroyers come. Where he had the USS America, I believe, the G.I. Joe.
Oh, there was always one kid who had that.
Yeah, he had the carrier, and then he had the F-14s with it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and
I know the kid you mean.
Yeah, and that thing was that son of a bitch is like 4.5 feet long. Like, that thing is no joke.
I saw one for sale recently up in Mount Airy.
I can only imagine how much that crap goes for today. Yeah, that kid also ready to make matters worse. Was there like a Death Star thing in that era too?
Yes, it was like it was kind of like a dollhouse, but for boys.
Yeah, he had that son of a bitch too. So he had the Death Star, and actually no, he had all the. Now that I think about it, he had the Ewok Village. He had an AT-AT, like that kid. That son of a bitch. That kid, and he lived in a smaller house than I did. Actually, we lived in a big house in the street.
I always, to this day, continue to want the G.I. Joe space shuttle, the one that is the launch complex.
Yes. Yeah, the one that I had parts of.
Yeah,
I had the shuttle pod.
They had a cheaper one that was just the main shuttle rather than the whole stack, and I want that shuttle so much. The Defiant was the big one.
Yep. Yeah. No, I just had the shuttle itself.
I had that. Yeah, I had that. The Crusader was the smaller shuttle.
Yeah, because I had enough G.I. Joes to invade your small country and take it into mine. Yes. And I believe most of them still exist in my bedroom, my dad's house. I have one of those like weird, like small, I don't know, I want to call it like an awning attic because it's just like the corner of the roof line in an area, so it's like really small and it's filled with all that shit. I remember last time I went in there, I'm like, oh my dad's like, "Can you take that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's good right here for now. Like it can stay here until I really need it."
By the way, it's been really neat watching the NPCs battle the missions fund enemies.
Oh, so
along. You can see them like wink at each other, and they'll shoot a bunch of missiles when there's
that's world building.
And you can see we've gone down to. I had like 6 snap points worth of red on me at one point, and now there's 2 of them.
It's not bad. Just goes to show. Thank you, militia. Right? Keep me safe. Keep me safe in your.
You think there was a paradigm at one point that just dropped out a whole bunch of missiles?
Oh, that's awesome.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Now I think about it, you know what's the most ridiculous thing? I had that G.I. Joe A10, but it was like that weird tiger skin or something. It was that weird like leopard printer. No, it wasn't leopard. It didn't have spots. It had stripes. It was tiger print. And but it was VTOL because the engine in the back would twist, so you could like. It's like this is VTOL. What the hell are you doing?
I did a tweet about this recently. There's this particular aesthetic that is. When a toy line has a modern military aircraft in it, and it's just some real military thing they're pretending is like the Independence Day toys. There's the Alien Fighter, and then an F-18, or G.I. Joe would have like, oh, it's an SR-71 that's a Cobra fighter.
Yeah,
I had that one.
I had the A-10. I had a lot of them. I had the A-10. I had a lot of those weird G.I. Joe ones with like the weird wings. I had the SR-71 one.
The F-14. There's an exoskeleton.
I never had the F-14 one, but I had the F-6. I had the F-16 one, probably at the end of the bookend where it's okay for you to be playing with a toy like that. Because I remember it was so badass. Because it was like digital and had like a trigger at the bottom for sound effects.
You know, because
it was like a regular F-16.
I was looking up G.I. Joes and I saw that and I was like, I don't remember an F-16, so it must have been at the very end.
It was at the very end because I remember when I got it and I remember playing with it and I remember within a few months thinking like, this is really not for me anymore. I think. I remember, because I remember the window. Cause I must have been like 14.
I had a couple TIE Fighters.
I never had that. I never had any of those. I was fully equipped with G.I. Joe. SR-71 was probably 2 feet. I think is kind of.
Yeah, it had a little lifting body in the middle.
But I don't know. 2 feet seems kind of long.
It seemed like 2 feet to you as a kid.
I bet it's just under. I bet it's like 22 or 20. I bet it's like 20 inches long.
Producer, please check GIJoemeasurements.com.
Michael, you're going to have to rewatch the whole show anyway, so. Why did we think of that? We could just set it and instead of typing it, we're dumb. You would have thought we would have known by now.
My overall philosophy for All Things Considered is that I never expect that anyone will ever watch it. I
always watch
want to have a fun show.
I always watch the next. I usually watch it the next morning. I put
you're the one.
I'm the one. I'm the one. Yeah, now I'm trying to the other dumb crap. Yeah, no, I love that garbage. It still sits in there. It's in my same attic. It's like, what do you do with this crap? It's gonna sit there until it can't sit there anymore.
Meanwhile, I have all the retro ones I bought downstairs.
There you go. God, that one kid, he did have everything.
There was always one kid with everything.
But the thing is though, like on my street, there was one kid who had everything, but then there was like another kid who had like others, like I just remember this the kid. Like there was one kid who lived next door to me who I couldn't tell you a single thing about except he had all that crap. And there was a kid across the street from me who had all this other stuff. I feel like part of me is combining their collection into one. Like I feel like one had half the Star Wars stuff and the other one had the other half. Yeah, those are the days.
Yeah, whatever happened to those kids? Where are they now? Why aren't they?
I'm assuming they have multi-million-dollar jobs because their dads gave them companies.
Yeah.
I have a friend from college who now is actually looking into some more ways to help him. He doesn't know what he's doing, so he's asking her.
You should go work for some really other company.
I feel like I work better than that already. You can change the letters, and that works for me. Because and in the chat they've been talking about what size, they would buy a 1/350th Tiger's Claw or what? Yes, buy all of those. Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter. Yeah, as long as it's not 1-to-1. Yeah, or like 1-to-20 or anything in that range.
I mean, we're almost lucky that Wing Commander has not become the most successful thing in the world because I watched all the Comic-Con stuff and they do like here's the $17,000 exact replica of the filming model of the Reliant. Like, oh my god, what? If they had that for Wing Commander, I would.
What?
They do $10,000 starships and stuff.
But how many of those do you produce? Like where you?
A couple. It's like an artisan reproduction.
I guess so. Because I mean, there are so many people.
There's enough incredibly rich Star Trek fans out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the right part of tech and programming, you're making $500,000 a year on like your third year of work. So I guess I can see that. Not me.
Now entering an automatic landing zone.
All right, we did it.
So
now look at that.
I'm so glad you made it. All right, so we were at 124, 232, and now we are at 167.02. Baby, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was like 30,000 credits.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of that just because industrial base.
All right.
We gotta check out the others too.
Yep.
Should we do that now?
Yeah, why not? We know Constantinople was capital what?
Government something.
Yeah.
But we're headed back to Constantinople anyway to pick up the plot again.
So what are you gonna do, Perry or Oxford?
Yeah, let's see Perry or Oxford. Let's see if there's a mission.
Yeah, see if you can find a cargo to Oxford or something. You might get lucky. Check in.
Not fighting mercenaries. Does Oxford want anything I can buy at New Detroit?
Actually, yes, it might. I believe it actually might. Hold on.
Oh, reinforcements needed in the Perry system. Combat at Perry Naval Base. That's an easy one.
Well, there's nothing that's bolded as super profitable, but there is a lot of. There's a handful of things that yes, you can take.
Well, you know what? Here, I'll take. I'll head to Perry. Does Perry want anything from New Detroit?
Yeah, but it's even worse than Oxford. The only thing it had, so a moderately profitable run would be space salvage from New Detroit to Perry.
Okay, space salvage.
But food dispensers, home appliances, and plastics also work. So any of those are A-okay for you.
Let's see what we got here. Commodity exchange. You say plastics?
So plastics, food dispensers, home appliances are your bare, meh profitability.
Okay.
Space salvage is your biggest.
So we got some space salvage.
It says at least 600 credit profit. which is kind of sad. And then food dispensers, home appliances, and plastics.
Food dispensers, home appliances, and plastics.
Yeah. And then that's all you got, sir. That's your best bet there.
Okay, well, let's head to Perry.
Making our way through the military. Let's check the cord. Yes, I would. Okay, here's a question. If you had to choose one and only one, and you could get let's say a one, whatever the fighter one is, the 132nd or whatever.
Oh, okay, so one Wing Commander ship.
One Wing Commander ship, 131 or 132nd size.
Maintain speed and
the entire
course.
gamut.
No contraband detected. You may proceed.
I mean, I do own a 132nd Wing Commander ship, which is I have the Drapier toy prototype. But if it was
that doesn't help the question. That's just you chatting away to fill space instead of answering the question that I've asked you. You just had one. In the full gamut, so, they're all there.
Original Hornet, maybe?
Okay. I can see that, especially those giant-ass lasers,
Yeah, I think it would look cool. I mean, maybe my privateer ship would be another good one, though.
You're about to suck void.
What do you mean by
buddy.
your privateer ship?
Tarsus, the Grandpa Max Tarsus in 132.
That's just a shoe off to the sand. I think it's I would want. Because the thing is, in that scale, my first thought is, well, capital ships look silly in that scale, so it's but. I mean, I would have to go for the next Wing Commander 3 Excalibur. I just love that paint scheme.
Yeah, any of the Wing 3. You know what? I would love any of the Wing 3 ships in that. That particular sort of an industrial, it's wood, so it's kind of shiny. You would see it on defense contractors' desks.
The one where it's they're wood, but then they're painted. And colors, and it has that gloss on. Yes, I know. Yes,
this is a beautiful ship, but let's look at military starbase. These are interesting.
Okay,
I'm gonna do a twit about this later.
Tweet?
Twit?
You son of a bitch!
Okay, that's good price for space salvage. Okay.
Yeah, it's your proper one. Where did you want to go after this?
Oxford. Oxford, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they want
Perry,
weapons.
Yeah, Perry to Oxford. This is going to be useless.
Yeah, they're not going to have anything.
Hold on. Oh,
hey,
yeah, there's
where
just
do you think you're going?
Just wandering around. Is there a problem?
There is if you try to go through that door.
Yep.
That's Admiral Terrell's office. He doesn't like visitors.
Hey, don't sweat it, sweetheart. I don't like visiting. Later.
Yeah, I think a Sorthak would be great.
Oh yeah, it would be, or just a classic draw, a Bloodfang.
Bloodfang, yeah, that'd be good.
I mean, just a display that would a Bloodfang and an Excalibur,
yeah.
Let's see if we got anything going to Oxford.
Yep.
Junction.
And then have them be, the Victories
Junction.
paint scheme, and then the Throckath paint scheme.
Yeah,
definitely.
Anything in the Oxford system, lady?
Okay.
Put in individual CDs, each with apparently carries 1 kilobyte of data.
Yep.
Perry new. Perry's good. I do like to do the patrols in Perry, but not today.
Yeah, because they're pretty easy.
Yeah.
Perry. So you'll get lucky and you'll have some friends around to help you. Actually, although is there anything along the way where you could stop from Perry to
there's 3 Perry. Should I do a Perry patrol? There's 4 of them there. 5 of them. There's 5 different Perry patrols.
Well, yeah, get the ones that are all super high paying, and why not?
That's a 10,000.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's a 11,000. So definitely take that. Let me see what the 2 in the mercenaries were. Okay, there was a.
I mean, on the way to Oxford, too, you can always stop at New Detroit.
Yeah.
The cargo, because that's along the way.
Along the way, if there's anything they want. Okay, we've got 7 nav points for 16,000. I will take that. 10,865. that one's for Kilrathi.
I'm getting hammered with spam garbage the last few days. Like, there's some like penis pill text I just got, which is at least different from the money ones I've been getting all morning. Morningstar would be not a bad one.
The mercenaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morningstar would be a good one.
Like, I can see it having your Morningstar one, except you don't put it on the stand, you put it on its landing gear, and you have the mace underneath. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I could see that cool option or something, or have the stand be able to hold it. Like, I could see that. I gotcha.
I don't think I took any hits.
You don't recall.
But, you know, I used a couple missiles.
That's true, yeah. I don't recall. You've tilted your monitor slightly different from normal, so it's harder for me to see a lot.
Oh, you know why that is? Because over the weekend, we took out everything here. We drilled a hole through the wall for a while, so everything got moved around slightly.
That's right, yeah, okay. I forgot about that.
We did, and hopefully it's a better signal now, but we hardwired this instead of...
yeah, we're not Wi-Fi.
We're not Wi-Fiing it anymore, like a bunch of losers.
That's right, I forgot that you did that. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that has good Excalibur, too. Not so much, I mean, I don't mind the Wing Commander 4 paint scheme, but it's
maintain speed and course for contraband search. No contraband detected. You may proceed.
The Thunderbolt would be a beautiful model, though.
Yep.
With a shark mouth.
Yep, and then the stripes and everything on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that would be a good one.
So if you run a company that
any of the Border Worlds would be
fancy
great. Any of the Border Worlds because they're different tones, and then the red and everything. Yeah, yeah. Capital ships would be kind of hard. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like if you have to get it, it has to be the Behemoth. You know, like the incomplete Behemoth.
I would want the Tiger's Claw.
No, I'd like a good 20-inch long or 2-foot Behemoth with the holes, and then I feel like
it's like a punchline to like a 60s joke. But I asked for a 10-inch Behemoth.
I don't know. I just feel like that'd be, there's just something about having a super weapon, you know. Everything else is kind of boxy. The Victory would be alright, but it's kind of boxy. Yeah, the Tiger's Claw's good. Concordia would be okay, but I feel like it's a
I'm a coward before the claws of a warrior.
You have locked into this dolly, so I can tell you. Look, somebody's shooting him in the butt.
Oh, hey, doing butt. It's a song. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
It's a song from middle school dance, like doing the butt. Oh, not doing in the butt, doing the butt.
I don't remember that.
Which I don't think there's that much of a difference. Oh,
yeah,
sexy,
we may have different middle school experiences here.
This is a very scary thing to Google. I'm going to try to remember as many of the words as I remember in order to facilitate the...
No, I mean, the good news is there is a lot of information about that subject on the internet.
See, part of me thinks it's this one, but this one says doing the butt. Hey, pretty, pretty. Oh no, it says hey, sexy, sexy. It's by somebody named E.U. Da butt. D-A apostrophe butt.
Okay.
We'll have to check that out along with with the Sesame Street if the Count has a missile in his house. That's right.
One less Drolthy. They helped.
Deep research happening right now. Yeah! He's always counting. That's right. He's always counting down the button. He's always counting down to launch.
Yep, the count is always counting down to the apocalypse. I remember that.
No, but he's always got.
Die by the very weapons you adore.
Apparently, oh, he's. Oh my goodness! Wow, the Sesame Street wiki don't mess around. They have the Count Von Count sketches inside the castle organized. Just those sketches inside the castle.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Okay, there's a rock. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm waiting.
So... Oh no! You want to know who the Count one time takes into his castle that's going to weird you out a bit from our conversation pre-show?
Alright.
Susan Sarandon.
Oh.
Probably... I don't think that was when she was still Rocky Horror Prison. So, alright. So I think I have an answer to this question. So, it appears on episode 1306, original air date in May 14th of 1979, in season 10 of Sesame Street. The Count has built a rocket with the help of Dr. Reinbrain and plans to launch it from inside his castle. The two count down from the computer console, but the rocket doesn't take off. Indeed, Count never intended for liftoff. He plans on counting down again and again.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, that sketch is apparently stuck in my head to the point where my child brain associated that he always had that missile there. Which I'm not necessarily sure if it shows up again. Oh, let's see. So I don't see it in any of the screenshots, but I definitely remember the one that's there. So, the Count does have a missile, but apparently it's not all the time.
It appeared once in 1979, some years before you were born.
2 years before I was born, yes. So.
Alright, you're technically correct. The best kind of correct.
That's right. Yeah, well, it's your childhood memory, so you know it's always going to be garbage to begin with. When you're like, why do I remember all these other things? And you're like, whoa, they're from there? How the hell did I blur all that together? Yep. Yep. Our net worth, we're not really aiming for anything at the moment. Right now we're just kind of building up cash, and then next week we'll jump back into
plot. Yeah.
Plot. We'll plot. We'll explore some fairs.
Get that Centurion we've been waiting for.
Yeah. We'll mess around for a little. Probably one more week in the galaxy. Then next week, and then a week after Centurion.
We're probably getting close to Centurion time already.
Well, I just figured to give equal time to all of them.
No, more time to Centurion because it's more fun.
I understand.
I'm gonna stop at Annapolis to get this guy to stop chasing me before I head off to.
I was gonna say perfect because I feel like when you get to Oxford, that'd be a great time to end because it'll be rough. We'll be just over 2 hours at that point.
Oh yeah.
So that's like a perfect time for that.
Or let's get to Oxford and then let's jump to New Constantinople. So we'll start with the plot next time.
Oh, perfect.
One more leg.
That sounds fine to me.
Is Oxford gonna want anything I can get in Annapolis?
A refinery to agricultural.
Patrol to civilian craft. Keep your distance.
Refinery to Oxford? Okay, I got it.
Now entering
the Longbow is also a very gorgeous spacecraft for a model, yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. The non-D-Day stripes they almost go for with the back, the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're looking for... Your top priorities are food dispensers, prefabs, and communications.
Okay, looks like... None of those.
None of those. So then your next ones are plastics, home appliances.
Okay, we've got home appliances, we've got plastics.
And factory equipment.
Factory equipment.
Alright. Those are your average. And then that's about it. That's it.
Alright.
That is it.
Check the mission computers, see if there's somehow anything going to Oxford.
Very unlikely, but you never know. Yep. Basically, what we figured out is all the ships are kind of gorgeous. I think. Well, here, if there was one ship you wouldn't want a model of, what would it be? Like, what would you not care for?
Like one that, if that was my only one, I wouldn't want it.
Yes.
The Wing Commander 4 shuttle.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a brick.
Yeah, it's a brick with a rounded edge. Okay, I gotcha.
But now I want that shuttle.
That's okay. Yeah.
The skull from Private.
I was just the Wing Commander 4 Border World shuttle with the little. It's the pod with the two little engines.
Oh, the Hermes class.
Yeah, that one's kind of underwhelming. Yeah, but the Vindicator at least has that cool back end where it's hollow and the walls.
Cool. Yeah,
if it was a solid block, then I would agree. But because it has that kind of that void space, I like that. But yeah, no, the Border World shuttle never. I mean, it just looks like a hunk of crap. It's like whatever. Yeah.
Very mean to the Border World shuttle.
Well, it's just because it's just.
I believe it's not specifically a Border World shuttle. It's like a marine boarding ship. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
No contraband detected. Yeah. You may proceed.
One thing that always seemed odd about Privateer, design-wise, decision for me, is the fact that the 3 big unique bases are adjacent.
Oh yeah. They're
good to see a friendly ship.
Are there direct jumps? I think isn't there one system between all of them at least?
No, because I'm going here from Perry to New Detroit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But there's no. I don't think you can't.
I think Oxford is one off, but New Constantinople is the other jump.
Yeah, Oxford. Yeah, Oxford is one jump away from New Detroit. New Detroit and New Constantinople are connected, but then it's one jump from Constantinople up to Perry. But yeah, then Perry has.
Your profile is clear to sector's edge.
A direct jump to New Detroit. Yeah, they're all. Well, I mean, you figure it's the business end of the sector, but.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that all the big bases are. I mean, it makes cosmological sense, but in terms of game, you start experiencing them all at the same time.
Yeah, because I mean, the only reason you go to Ferris is because of the plot.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going to fly to Ferris this evening, and we didn't bother to because it's like, why?
In fact, in Ferris is where I would build out that black market mechanic.
And you can tell that's like what they kind of wanted to do, but it just doesn't. There's not enough motivation to do so.
Yeah.
There's not enough of a reward. Is the problem. Like, if you can do that, you can make money. If you're just going to run back and forth, but then it's just a constant sprint. So it's not as much fun as you might imagine because there's all those other elements. If you add that, just a bit, but
Let's take some bets. I'm gonna think it's Oxford University Planet. Research base. I don't know.
Library World.
I'm excited to find out.
Yeah. No one ever said the size of ships in Wing Commander made sense.
That's true.
They do not make sense.
So as we're getting ready for the last leg of our weekly privateer adventure, Book Club is coming up next. Yes. And if you would like to participate, just connect to our Discord, and there's a voice channel, which we will be adding to our chat here.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about the last 3 chapters. It's really 2 chapters, an epilogue.
Yep.
Of Oxford University Planet.
You mean the Drunkalog? Because that's all they do.
Yes, it's a Drunkalog.
They proceed to drink. All I know is that Admiral Tolan has quite the stash in his office on Concordia, where after a whole book of hearing about how bad that was for a Mr. O'Brien, I find it odd that we don't see an issue with that with Commodore or Admiral Tolan.
Was there anything at Oxford that I can take to?
Where you want to go? New Constantinople?
New Constantinople. Do they want food? Food or books?
Books, wood, and generic foods.
Books, wood, and generic foods?
Generic foods are actually your best bet, which is odd.
Okay.
They're italicized. The other 2 are just regular.
Some generic foods. I got some books. And what was the third thing?
Wood.
Wood.
Huh!
Alright, we got a bunch of... Yeah, I guess I better check the missions, just to be thorough. We're looking for something that takes us to New Constantinople.
Yep.
I'm not doing a recon of one nav point, a blockade point.
Although we won't, we won't, New Constantinople or Constantinople will be in our book chat very soon.
It will. There's an interesting point about that to make.
It's gone! That's why it's called Istanbul. How about this? Just this butt song also has a part that says, New York, bring out the butt. DC, bring out the butt. LA, what do you say? Bring out the butt. Philly.
Alright.
Atlanta, Baltimore. And then that's it. That's all we call out. No New England. It's just New York, DC, LA, Philly, Atlanta, Baltimore.
Those are the main cities back then.
Yeah. Back then, it's like 1994.
But we're going to see a similar list of cities in a little bit. So. Alright, no good missions. So I'm just gonna save, take off. We're gonna head to New Constantinople.
Prepare to be
We'll end
searched.
for the night.
Maintain speed and course.
I'm gonna go hopeful.
Yes, we will end our...
And this part of the show, so we're headed to XXN.
Yes.
No contraband detected. You may proceed.
What is here at the point?
Hello.
Catch you on the next run.
This might have been a song I believe in 1998, so... So what we really discovered in the end is that we were like 1/32 model only spaceship.
Yes.
Except the shuttle. No shuttles.
But could you imagine like a G.I. Joe version of the shuttle that you put figures in? That would be fun.
I would more... well, the thing is though, I think now too, now speaking of shuttles, since we're talking about marine assault craft later, when I think of marine assault craft, I often, the Wing Commander 3 and 4 shuttle is sometimes what gets put in there.
Oh, in my head, it's always the Dreamin'.
Oh no, I always think of it as like when they talk about the ground suppression missiles unlocking. I picture that as being under the 3 and 4 shuttle, where those come down and fire out. Like Dreamin' to me doesn't. It seems too. I almost want to say there's too much. There's too much spread out almost, right? I feel like it'd be more susceptible to damage.
Well, it's because in Secret Missions 2, you're told that Draymen are being used as the marine assault craft, so I've just always assumed that there's like a Drayman with like rocket pods under it. And...
Okay, I gotcha. I can see that.
And it can submerge underwater, apparently?
I feel like I probably always thought of the shuttle because I read Fleet Action after I'd had those games.
Okay.
Prepare to be searched.
Yeah, I guess I read it before this.
And force. No contraband detected. You may proceed.
Yep. Wait, did you see what Oxford said on the thing?
Yeah, university planning.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my god, we just flew away because we didn't think of that? I forgot for a second.
Now entering an automatic landing zone.
Now entering an automatic landing zone.
Okay, what do we got here? Let's
sell.
Commodities, make a little bit of cash, hopefully.
Straight cash always. Yeah.
Very little cash. Maybe about 2,000.
Yeah. I didn't think there'd be a whole lot on that one.
Alright, let us check in with Mr. Lynch. I can talk to Mig separately.
You don't want to talk to me, because I don't want to talk to you. And anyone that makes me do what I don't want to do gets hurt. Pain-wise, get me? Mr. Lynch sitting over there. He's the one you want to talk to. So either state your business or take a hike, buddy.
It's so funny that they bother putting that in the game.
I understand you thwarted Mr. Kreitz. Well done.
Hey, I need to get my
payment and as agreed, some additional
Lynch
information. Your find is of alien origin and as such virtually priceless, which also means the Confederation will want to keep it from private hands. To keep your possession of it secret, I've incurred additional expenses.
You want another favor, right?
Mr. Lynch did you a favor, pal. Better get grateful quick like, while you can still walk.
I could always get crutches, Miggs, but there's no cure for ugliness.
I urge you to observe caution with Miggs. My control over him extends only so far. Actually, my request is personal. I will pay you 30,000 credits to take someone off-world. Do this, and I'll continue to procure the information you seek.
Doesn't sound like much to ask. What's the catch?
My cousin Regis and I share certain business interests. Sadly, he's been subpoenaed in a murder trial. It would be best if he disappeared.
Uh-huh. Is he a witness or a suspect?
He is my cousin, which is enough for you. Regis enjoys spending time on the Romulus mining base in Castor system. I suggest you get him out of New Constantinople and take him there. After you've dropped Regis off, return here for your pay and more information.
Alright, so we've taken a mission for next week. We're going to take his cousin Regis to a government base. That's the weird one. Okay. Well, that is all really exciting. We've learned the.
Did you make a good save name for it? Like that we'll remember very easily?
Yeah, I did the most recent AWC 23.
Okay. But we're on episode. Aren't we? Is it the 20th episode?
This is 20.
Hey!
Yeah, we made it 20 weeks somehow.
Yeah, 20 long years.
Longer than Tuca and Birdie.
Oh.
All right, everybody. Let's get ready for book club.
Gotta switch everything around here.
Da, 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 da.
No, that's the rat race. We should have a book club fancy splash screen thing, Bob.
We should. We'll do it for the next book.
That way we can.
All right, everybody. If you're out there in CIC land, it is time for book club. I know that Trelane is not going to be there tonight, but I think that Chris Reed and Leha will. And if they don't show up, then we'll
just talk to ourselves.
Absolutely, we're good at that. But I see Chris is already here, although he's both strong is muted. Hey guys, give us a.
They're well trained, man.
Hello.
Hey, I hear you.
Okay.
And hopefully so does chat.
I don't hear them because I'm not joined in the group like an idiot.
Well, yeah, if you guys let us know how this channel's in the stream, because this is always a pain to get just right.
Yeah, because
hello.
Some guys are quiet sometimes.
Up just our audio a bit. Okay. So, it is time for the very last Fleet Action Book Club for at least a good year and a half. And we are talking tonight about chapters 12, 13, and 14 of Fleet Action, which is the end of the book. And I guess as usual at this point, I will walk everybody through what happened in the book, and then we'll start talking about it. So chapter 13 is the Battle of Sirius. If Fleet Action were ever adapted into a $100 million HBO miniseries, this will be like the epic, everybody's looking forward to the Battle of Sirius. I mean, basically all these chapters are the promise of the book. We've been talking about how there's going to be a Fleet Action since the first word of the book.
Yep.
And here it is. This is your payoff for sitting through all the politics and the nonsense and everything else. This is pure Fleet Action for 2.5 chapters.
Yeah, it just does not stop.
So, as last we left our heroes, the Kilrathi had rampaged through the Warsaw system. They had literally destroyed the biosphere of the planet, and they're running wild over the colonies as they head inexorably towards Earth. Some Ken Burns-ass narration right there. So the Kilrathi are on the march towards Earth. Tallwind's job is to stop them. Meanwhile, off in the Landreich, they have deflected the Kilrathi invasion, but Kruger has told Bear, no, you are not to take forces back to Earth. We need them to defend our home.
Yes.
So now it's the Battle of Sirius. The Confederation and Kilrathi fleets have come head-to-head at the Sirius system, which is just a couple jumps from Earth. And Tolwyn has decided that he's going to try to make his stand here. He now has 4 functional fleet carriers against the Kilrathi massive armada, and
5+.
Yeah, 5+ heavy carriers and
5
escorts.
super, and I don't even remember how many regulars at this point.
1, 2, 3. It's like 4. It's 4 or 5 at this point.
Yeah, I think they're right around 10 carriers total.
The Kilrathi fleet in total has 20. 10 of them are in reserve. 4 of them are in the... Yeah, it's a lot. It all works out.
It's a lot of decks.
So, we start with a spacecraft strike. The Confederation fleet launches their heavy strike fighters, the broadswords and sabers and so on, with the goal of fighting this traditional fleet action against these Kilrathi supercarriers. And Confederation gets the first strike. Confed's offensive forces go in. We follow Bear and Chamberlain. Chamberlain is now a broadsword pilot. He's killed in the attack on one of these Kilrathi heavy carriers, along with hundreds and hundreds of fighters.
This is not good.
It's not good.
Not good.
And although they score 4 torpedo hits on one of them, it is still running on internal power at the end of the battle. Yeah. So the Confederation throws their best at this thing. They take incredible losses, and they manage to sink one enemy old-style carrier, and they cripple one of the new ones. But that is very minor compared to what the Kilrathi have at their disposal at this point.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Kilrathi have launched their offensive strike against the Confederation carriers. They destroy 2 of them, essentially. The Verdun is destroyed in the battle, and the Moskva abandoned ship shortly afterwards. So Tolwyn finally makes the decision, we have to retreat. We're going to fight at Earth. Back at Earth, they have assembled... They have 3 additional carriers, one which has just gotten online, the Saratoga, and then the Ark Royale and Leyte Gulf don't have their jump engines online, but since they're fighting in the Sol system, they can get online and join the fleet.
I think you have Lexington and...
Oh, you're right.
Leyte Gulf has because they're retreating from CS Lexington.
You're right. Yeah.
God damn it, worse.
So, the fleet, that will be the last battle. The Kilrathi destroy the Sirius system. The Frakath calls on Jukaga, and he says, hey, by the way, I planned this whole thing. We find out that Frakath has been one step ahead of Jukaga longer than we've thought. He's actually the reason the Tarawa was allowed to scan the Kilrathi fleet and escape. He has wanted to restart the war. Mm-hmm. So Jukaga finds all this out and is shocked. He's not a great spy minister, it turns out.
Not so good in some way. He's blind by a lot.
And Frakath's final punishment for him is that he has to command the cruisers that will destroy Earth. It's super villain lunacy. So we return to the Sol system. This makeshift fleet is forming up. Tolwyn goes to Big Duke 1, Duke Greco, who is now, he had been the Marine Commandant, he is now in charge of the Joint Chiefs.
Yeah, he's GCS.
And he has come up with this crazy plan. Basically, they have every available ship, every civilian ship, liners, tugs, transports. They're all spread out in this giant fleet. Anything that floats is going to draw fire from the Kilrathi. They are also going to send out marine landing craft filled with Marines, and they're going to try boarding the enemy ships in a ship-to-ship action. They want to board the ships, go below deck, set off a mine. That's their incredibly desperate last hope to stop these Kilrathi ships. Tolwyn thinks this is crazy.
Because it is.
And it's kind of like the promise of the Battle of the Line in Babylon 5. You always hear about the Battle of the Line spoken of like it's this battle, and then every flashback is like 6 fighters.
And 5 of them are being annihilated in like 13 seconds. So I'm being nice.
So this is just this incredible giant battle that's about to happen. Makeshift Confederation forces. Confed has 5 carriers. The Kilrathi have 4 of their super carriers and other regular carriers. It's gonna get hairy.
It was funny. I bet I liked, in the beginning more because of fleet action, and this
in the beginning feels so much like a fleet action movie.
Yeah, because you have the Battle of the Line. You just got me thinking about that because I bet that's what really helped drag.
No, I saw that too at the time for sure.
100%. Yeah.
So this battle happens. We see that Kevin Tolwyn is one of the Rapier pilots covering this last. This last Confed strike, so it's the same exchange. Confed strike forces are heading to hit the Kilrathi. Kilrathi are heading to hit Confed, and everybody's fighting it out. And there's this just absolutely tragic battle that's described. The civilian pilots are being mowed down. Ships every second are exploding. It's hundreds and hundreds of ships.
Yeah, the casualties are massive.
But the plan works. The Marines are able to board the supercarriers and several of the other ships. They get below decks. They set off the mines. In the process, they destroy 3 of the 4 supercarriers. Yep. The 4th one, the Kroxta, is able to repel the boarders. Prince Drakath is aboard one of these ships that is boarded, and he's kind of losing it at this point. We find out that he has been the mastermind of all this, but he's not that great in a pinch.
No, you don't say.
He orders. He does not see the plan with the Marines. He thinks they're just a distraction and ignores them.
Until it's far too late.
Yeah, and finally he realizes the ship he's on is going to be destroyed. He says, "I'm going to lead the next strike force." Everybody thinks he's a coward. Those people are about to die anyway. So,
who cares?
He flies off as his ship is destroyed because he can't kill Prince Drakath, and he finally lands aboard the surviving carrier, the Kroxta. Where he orders the captain, and this is the moment taken from the Battle of Midway. We'll talk about this, but he orders the captain, no, don't. It's not time to recover fighters. We need to prepare for another strike. And so they begin loading their ships with torpedoes, and they have their bays open internally.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Tolwyn says, "Okay, Destroyer Squadron 3, Mike Wazowski, Mike Pulaski.
Everywhere's Mike.
It's your time to shine."
Yep.
So Confed has this destroyers versus carrier battle where this destroyer group heads in on this remaining Kilrathi carrier. The destroyers are annihilated as they go in, but Mike Pulaski, he rams his ship right into the carrier. It doesn't destroy it, but it cripples it because the bays are all open. They're loading ordnance onto the fighters, and the captain is killed. And Thrakath's only option at this point is to retreat. Mm-hmm. Except, you recall, we have sent Brown Jukaga to command the ships that will destroy the Earth, and we find out that no one has been able to stop them. We've been taking out the battle has been joined. Meanwhile, Jukaga's force has flanked the Confed fleet, and it is at Earth. They pace the moon, similar to, in fact, we talked about this in our moon segment last week, but they destroy the shipyards on the moon, the ships dock there.
Just level it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they are preparing to destroy the Earth. They get to Earth orbit, they fire their first series of missiles, and it destroys all these cities. Pittsburgh, Boston, Rio. There's a whole list. We'll look at it in the segment. Omaha, yeah, Rio. Constantinople. And so and the next thing that they're going to do is fire the strontium-90 clad warheads, which will destroy the biosphere. And Frakath says, Jukaga's on the bridge of the ship with the captain, and he says, "Oh, you call this war?" He says, "No, I call it revenge." Apparently, there's some backstory there we don't know. Yeah. And Jukaga, something comes over him. He stops it. He fights the captain.
He kills everybody.
He kills everybody.
Even and when he's paralyzed, he's still dropping dudes, which I think is a bit much.
And it's at this very moment that out of a jump point comes the Tar escort ships. The Landreich is here, a little bit late.
Over the North Pole.
Over the North Pole, yeah. Polar orbit. It's ridiculous. And they take out that last cruiser just in time, although they're not actually just in time. Earth would have been destroyed if Chicago had not done that. But of course, no one on the Confed side knows that. And we find out that Kevin Tolwyn has been shot down in all this. He is missing in action. Last chapter, Duke Recco is on that Kilrathi flagship. He is unable to get back to his ship, and he stays with the mine to detonate it. So he is killed.
Yes. With Jenny.
With Jenny, yes. We'll talk about. So then we jump to the last chapter, which is really just an epilogue, chapter 14. It's all of our surviving characters are gathered together on the Concordia. What a terrible victory this has been. And then Tallwin gets the notification that he needs to come down to the flight deck. They have found Kevin. He survived. He's taken a dose of radiation, but he will survive. And Tallwin just loses it and breaks down crying. And the last words of her, yes, son.
Did we win?
We do. Yes, son, we won.
All right.
And so that is the end of Fleet Action, and we're going to talk about that end right now.
Ta-da!
So, hey, everybody. I hope you are still out there after the long description of the book you just read. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
I did. Lehigh, how are you doing?
Do we lose Ha?
Maybe. Lehigh, if you're...
He's unmuted.
He's unmuted. I don't know what he's doing.
Nope, he clicked his mic.
Something's
Click
not right
twice if you're in trouble.
There he is.
Maybe.
Nope, maybe.
Hang on. I'm having technical difficulties over here, folks.
Hear you clearly now. We hear you clearly now.
Well, we got you there. We got you there. All right. So, where did you want to start?
Well, let's just first impressions. Go around the table. What did you guys think of the book? I'll start with you, Dunder.
I mean, this is like we talked about. This is the big payoff, right? These last chapters are nothing but battle on top of battle on top of battle. We get tons of great lore. We get all these great tidbits. I love a lot of it. And then, and it seems like in that last bit though, he wants to throw in, like earlier you asked me, what are the historical references? And they all happen like right next to each other, kind of at the end there, where he has the Midway stuff. He has the Battle of Pulowski is talking to his EXO, who is very clearly of Japanese descent,
which is a great moment and surprisingly open worldview for Bill Forstchen in 1994.
Yeah, I mean, he must have been, he must have recently read of something because it was clearly on his mind. He must have read like Thomas Hone or something, because it is a great moment because he says it. And in the way in which he just, but he never gives you the guy's name. Like earlier, you said this was like a good bit about it.
It's something you don't notice as a kid because they're talking on the bridge. And,
I knew as a kid. I was like, all right.
And the Commodore says something like, "This is just like Leyte Gulf," and then the nav officer who's not named or described says. Yeah. One of my illustrious ancestors was
cruiser captain
there. We should have won that day. Yeah. And you don't. I never put together immediately that it's this Star Trek world where former enemies are now working together against the Kilrathi.
Yeah, because they're talking about the famous battle off Samar where a few destroyers and destroyer escorts fought off the largest battleship ever built in the Japanese Yamato and managed to turn it back. So yeah, it was a nice little bit, and he kind of does a lot of great stuff. But I loved, even though I thought the numbers I'm bad at math. I think Forstchen has somehow managed to make himself worse, despite the numbers being right next to each other. Two things that jumped out to me, and that I had not thought about in a long time, was the great, the Lexington, in fan canon for a long time, the burnt out Lexington is what then becomes the rebuilt Armada Lexington we send off the next year.
No, it's the Wing 4 Lexington.
No, I know. Well, no, but remember for a while, because the Lexington and Lexington.
Oh yeah,
were like, they're all the this same. One. Yeah, this is that one. Mm-hmm. And then the thing that stuck out to me reading this afternoon is, who the hell are you, EXO of the Kothrax, to sit there and suddenly talk truth to power? Not just truth to power, but literally, listen, this is what's going on. This is the accurate assessment. Either kill me or let's go home.
So I have a headcanon here that I think...
It's interesting.
Works really interesting, and I think that's where you're going with it.
Yeah. I think
it's this scene aboard the flagship after the destroyers have crippled the final remaining supercarrier. Thrakath says, "Who's in command here?" And we see that a Kilrathi and it is another great bit of world building that's never touched again ever. They say, he has the green tabs of damage control. On his, so he's a damage control officer, and he really stands up to Thrakath. He says, "Well, the captain was doing this on your orders, and we have to retreat. And Thrakath is, it's a situation where sometimes Thrakath will execute the guy, but at this time he realizes that he's right. And
he's not just right once, though. He hits him like over and over and over the head with like well, here's why this is. Well, sure, you can do that, but then we have this problem, and I have to do this. And it's funny, and he makes it the damage control officer, which is the one person that their job is to provide this accurate information. So lying about it doesn't work. So it's actually kind of I don't want to say brilliant, but it's really clever way of anybody who's going to talk back to him in such a way. That guy has not the authority, but the weight to do so.
So my headcanon there is Melek. That's how he meets Melek.
Which, I mean, all right.
Because he's got this loyal sidekick. The next time we see him, seems to come from nowhere. Yeah. What if that's Melek?
I mean, maybe.
That would be really cool.
It would be, because I mean,
you could easily make that a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally wrote in my notes, who is the officer big dicking Thrakath? Because it was like, this guy is being so aggressive about this. It's not, sire, here is the information. It's, sire, here's your information, and here's why I'm doing this, just so you know I'm not an idiot. And he does it in such a way that's not submissive, but it's very assertive, but not disrespectful. So yeah, I mean, Melek, not a bad fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love all the detail, except the numbers are clearly just everywhere.
So Chris, what did you think of these chapters?
There's just, there's like all the great moments just keep layering on top of it. It was a great comeback to get all the carriers online. Nice touch where the carriers in the solar system didn't need to jump engines. All that stuff. It's just great.
There's this wonderful washing away too. We have all these dumb politics, and it's been kind of tedious, and then it's just all pulled aside, and there's some pure Wing Commander action. And they even say as much in the book. The Kilrathi talk about how, when humans get in the situation, all that dumb crap no longer matters.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Lee, what did you think of these 3 chapters?
Well, hopefully my mic works now, does it?
Yeah, you sound great, actually.
You sound actually better.
I think it's the best I've ever heard you sounding.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's clear. It's very clear.
It's funny that I can't tell you how many times I've read this book over
20
years or whatever, and everything that happens only in 2 chapters. But everything we remember about this book is in that. What is it? It's like maybe 40 pages tops.
I think today I counted. It's like 31 pages total. We had.
It's really short.
It's really quick. Yeah.
And it's also it's something that bothers me about Forrest, that it's not the way he breaks up the stories, but the book takes place over such a long period of time, and there's no easy way to track it. So in those 30 pages, there's so much that happens. So many people are killed. You have this enormous fleet battle that's starting in one system, runs back to Earth, and you have no sense of how much is going on because everything seems to be happening right on top of one another.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's funny. That's something we kind of mentioned beforehand when we were like pre-show talking, was that it's hard to get a set because it's like, you're at Warsaw, which is 8 jumps from Sirius, and then Sirius is 3 jumps in front of Sol, and he kind of mentions it, but then he just runs to the next bit, so you don't ever have a time to take a breath and realize that the space and time has gone by.
Yeah, and interesting, he has a clear cosmology for the Wing Commander universe. It doesn't match the one that's eventually put on paper, but he does have something in his head that he's referencing, and I have been putting it together as we go. Next week, hopefully, I'll have a whole map and a timeline. It's going to be good. I will share. By the way, here's the actual Sirius. That's real Sirius, which is
you can't be serious.
I am serious. So it's just the actual Sirius system is it's the brightest. It's the dog star. It's the brightest star in the night sky. It is a binary star system. And here is the Wing Commander published map, which gives the jump line as Sol to Sirius to Proxima to the Vega sector. if you read the details of Fleet Action, that's actually not how it's described. He talks about how there are several jump lines between Sirius and Earth.
Yeah, I think 8 sprouts or something, he says.
I think one project down for the future is to make an even more drilled-in version of that map where, this is a line that you do go from Sol to Sirius, but there's all these other systems in there somehow.
Yeah.
I wish I could cut open Bill Forstchen's head and see how he pictured the Wing Commander universe in early 1994, because I would love it. Would be fascinating.
I think he's just part of me wonders if he's just trying to give depth to the Confederation, so he just kind of put some numbers in there.
Oh, for sure. But from the references he makes from the directions of the jump line and off towards the frontier and 6 jumps there, he has something in his head that does go roughly equivalent from chapter to chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely an inner working to it. We're just not privy to it in the. He doesn't state it outright. Is what I'm trying to say.
One thing I noticed that there's a point in here where Tolwyn literally tells us what Omega is, and we've always kind of ignored it. They call it the Dreadnought class battleship on construction at the other side of the Confederation. I don't know why that never came up in any other context.
What do you mean?
He says he doesn't know if the Dreadnought class battleship being built on the other side of the Confederation will ever enter service in time to end the war.
The passing.
So,
okay, I was like, wait, what?
I don't know why we never drilled down to that in previous many arguments about Omega.
I feel like that was brought up, that it was that the Dreadnought was the thing.
Yeah, but I think it was always but maybe it means this instead.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious what he's saying.
It was always, maybe, but, yeah, there was definitely a lot of those.
Another thing I noticed about these chapters, in terms of the technical standpoint, is he clearly has his copy of Claw Marks right there with him.
Yeah, you made a great point about
suddenly, for the first time in one of his books, all the ships are from Wing Commander 1. All the Wing Commander 1 fighters appear. Jalthi, Salthi, Krant.
Yep.
And the other two. And I have their pictures. Salthi.
Yep.
Dralthi. Krant. Garotha. Jalthi. Here is the Lexington. This is the Lexington that's described in the book, the Concordia class TCS Lexington.
Was such a fight back in the day.
Such a fight. Yeah, we should talk about this, I guess.
Yeah, it's because that's why I brought up the Lexington Armada, because the first theory was always that how do we explain this other Lexington that has come out of nowhere?
So basically, the Wing Commander product that comes out right after Fleet Action and that references Fleet Action in its manual is Wing Commander Armada. And the ship in Armada is also called the Lexington.
Yeah.
There is in Tolwyn's fleet a TCS Lexington, which is destroyed in the book.
Gutted.
So, and when there was just Armada, it wasn't necessarily that big of a problem because the first one has been destroyed. Now there's a second one, and second ship to call that name. Lots of ships have been named Lexington. That makes sense in and of itself. Then Wing Commander 4 came out with another TCS Lexington, CV-44, an older style Concordia class carrier. And what gets confusing about that is that the Wing Commander 4 novelization explains that it is the same ship from the Battle of Earth. It was, the Burning Hulk was recovered and repaired and recommissioned as Lexington again. So, for whatever reason, it was always a big fan debate. What if they're all three the same instead of the two being the same that we literally know? And there's no reason they would be the same. And in fact, we know that the other Lexington goes off and is destroyed and no one ever knows about it. But for some reason, that was always a topic of debate.
Because it came out of the wording in Fleet Action where, Forstchen never directly says it explodes and destroyed. He says fire guts it.
Yeah.
So you picture that it's the internals are just completely destroyed, but the hull is intact enough that it can be, the frames that it be rebuilt from. But yeah, I can remember a lot of those arguments over it's the Lexington from Action Armada. Yep.
So I'm going to ask you a tactical question. We'll start with Leha this time. You're in Tolwyn's place. You are facing off against this Kilrathi fleet at Sirius. What is your plan? Do you fight at Sirius? Do you fight these impossible odds at Sirius? Do you withdraw so you have more strength at Earth? How do you do this?
Oh boy. I hate to say the only thing I could come up with is the only time I won a game of Homeworld against a friend of mine, and that was basically to just leave mine layer corvettes all over where I knew he was going to jump out of, and just kind of close myself in and let him throw himself against my shield. I mean, otherwise, the only other thing I could think of that they would do is what they did. Just throw everything you have at them.
Chris, how would you take this tactical situation?
Well, you should put the catapults behind the Unsullied and save the Dothraki. Wait, sorry.
No, it turns out you just need one dragon. It does everything. You never needed anything else.
Oh yeah. So
for people from the future, when you were, Wing Commanders well remember, but everyone's forgotten Game of Thrones. That was a Game of Thrones joke. Posterity. We got to think about posterity in these things.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like there should have been more ground-based assets.
Mm-hmm.
We put so many eggs in the carrier basket because it's Wing Commander.
Yeah.
But where's the orbital cannons based on the asteroids, and where's the fighters that can take off from air bases on the ground? Like, there should just be hundreds, thousands. Like, you shouldn't be held to just, we could cobble together these couple carriers.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think if you looked at more than just the carrier fighter assets, you should be able to bring a lot to bear. And all the civilian craft came from somewhere like that, so that must exist.
I mean, we know the Fleet Academy's there on the moon in Houston.
Well, it's just that I think Fortune he's stuck to like the numbers of the actual U.S. Navy pilots, where at the Battle of Philippine Sea they have just over 1,000 American pilots. Where here I don't think we ever cross 1,000, but we get close. But yeah, Chris is right. There's all of the bases, and they even talk about one point, we filled all the airships at Mars with all the fighters we could, and it's still like all these green guys, and it's like, wait a minute, haven't you been on an armistice for like almost a year? Shouldn't all those pilots be somewhere? And they've had 2 weeks to make their way back to Earth or towards the heart of the Confederation to then re-enlist and get back with the fleet. It's like we've misplaced 7,000 to 11,000 pilots somehow. If not, and I'm being generous with that number, it really should be like 25,000, 30,000 pilots.
The one thing that Fortune does is interesting. He actually takes into account some space stuff in this chapter.
Yeah, yes, he does.
We hear about the orbital mechanics. Because of where the planets are positioned, these ones are safe at this time. Only the asteroids are being overrun. Yeah. There's also this great bit at Sirius where the Confed force V's of ships are headed into the Karathi, and there's this warning that there's an antimatter strike inbound, just like in the games, and everybody just flies up and over. And it's a great moment where you're like, oh, this isn't World War II. He's actually thinking about, to some degree, how stuff would work in space.
And that's one of those kind of great bits that you're like, why didn't you kind of integrate that earlier with the whole idea of, the Karathi escorts just all launch antimatter missiles with huge warhead yields so that when they detonate, you're hoping to catch a few of the fighters. But then in the end, he's like, out of the 250, it caught 6. And it's like, wait, what?
I guess people know that trick.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you figure that's the oldest trick in the book.
So let me ask you another Tolkien question. Get ready to kill your heroes, people. But part one of the question: does Jeff Tolkien actually deserve any credit for what happened in these chapters? And second, does Kruger and Bear? Start with you, Dunderdahl.
If we're writing the official history of this, no. Dude Greco is going to... Greco
makes the plan.
Yeah, he's the highest level commander. He dies in combat executing his plan, right? I mean, Tolkien is underneath him. He would certainly deserve credit for stopping the Karathi fleet part of the battle. Kruger and Bear, though, get full credit then for preventing the final destruction of Earth, though. Because their action is completely independent and unknown to Tolkien and Kruger, or to Greco, until they pop over the pole.
But say we somehow declassify information, we find out what actually happened.
As experienced in this does not happen for a long goddamn time.
Well, we cover the black box of that cruiser, and we find out, it wasn't actually Bear's fighters that that saved Earth. It was Chukaga.
You still give them because
because they tried.
In the end, it's their efforts that prevent. Even if, say, what happens if another officer runs up onto the bridge and, Chukaga bleeds out by that point? You know what I mean? So it's like they get there just in time. It's very convenient timing, but, Tolwyn, he's like, it's like crediting... when you think of the Battle of Philippine Sea or things like that, nobody thinks of Admiral Mitcher. You think of Spruance. Mitcher gets some credit, and Tolwyn would get some credit. He'd get full credit for Sirius and Warsaw, but yeah, Earth is definitely that's Big Duke's.
And of course,
I think Tolwyn gets a little credit for not losing the force he had. He had to make his painful retreat. Other people could have squandered the force that since they didn't have thousands of ground-based fighters, every carrier and every ship that they managed to get to the Sol system mattered.
He's the George Washington, right? As long as the fleet remains, the nation remains. And he even says it at one point. It's like when he talks about, he mentions England during World War II. If England should fall, the fleet and the empire will continue to fight. And same thing with Confederation, right? As long as the carriers remain, and even if he has to give ground, just like Washington had to during the Revolution, it still remains, and the cause remains, and the idea.
Right? So, of course, in the Wing Commander universe, Tolwyn does get credit. He is feted as the hero after
the
this.
convenience of survival.
Yeah, he's so I wanted to point that out.
I think that kind of helps a bit.
Yeah. As we look forward to what becomes of Tolwyn, there's a moment that struck me for the first time in these chapters. At the very end of the book, he's ordered in Mike Pulowski, and we have a little bit of inner monologue where he stops and thinks. He's like, I sent him in because I knew he would die getting his revenge.
Yeah.
Which is strangely cold, all things considered. Because certainly, it's sad that his friend Mike Pulaski died, but also hundreds of other people in that destroyer crew.
Yeah. He really wants to play up, though, that all peoples, there's a clear line where, it's like terrorism is effective until you kind of go too far, and then instead of people being afraid, they're just really, really pissed off. And they even mentioned that, right, in the quote of the book is, if the cats had miscalculated anything, it was that. They had pushed the intimidation a notch too far, and rather than terrorize, it aroused every pilot, space, and marine in the fleet to a willingness to die rather than submit. And he plays that up over and over again. As we were talking earlier, Forstchen has this, it's borderline fascination with always having people kamikaze, always having people trade their lives in this moment, and a lot of times they're throwaways almost. In this, the kamikaze during is that Sirius? Yeah, it's at Sirius, where the one person doesn't break and instead smashes into the Hakaga at full speed and just bounces off its shields, doing absolutely nothing except dying, which is weird.
I'm sure he's picturing Return of the Jedi right there.
Yeah, of course. Right. Oh, but how many times do we need to see that? Because God, that's got to be close to the 7th or 8th human pilot that has done so. Because we have at least 2 or 3 in the Battle of Hellhole. Right, and then they continue. What are you doing?
He's doing something over. Yes, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, all right. I say you're just weirding out over there, but yeah, and that's the kind of thing. And I remember as a kid that always kind of stuck with me, that lesson of, and it's something you still even see with if you're studying to be a terrorist, right? There's a certain line you see this with America after September 11th, you didn't terrorize people, you instead made us insanely pissed off, or we will go across the planet to blow you up in your cave. And we will spend a lot of money to do so. But yeah, it is kind of weird that he's well, Mike will never be okay because his planet's gone. So
take your 17 destroyers
but at least he got Elaine off, right? Elaine has a family and kids, and so he threw her off. But then everybody else, and you have to love though his crew though. the torpedo room that stays.
They're just into it.
And they're like, we'll see you in hell! And it's like, whoa! What kind of ship does Pulaski run? It's like kind of weird, you know? Like, so many people just, you know, I mean, I get, he's trying to, and he does, he catches you because you start feeling the rawness, and you're like, yeah, but then you take a step back, and you're like, wait a minute. That was kind of an awkward exchange, actually.
All right, let's talk cats for a moment. We've talked about this from Confidence Command perspective.
I'm a dog person.
We all have our failings. First of all, Jukaga, why did he make his decision? Leha, let's start with you.
You know, I've wondered this my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but for as long as I've had
my Wing Commander life, which is your whole life.
And,
one and the same.
I honestly, there's definitely some type of inner monologue there that I as a reader am not privy to.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does say that, you know, if you become too close to your enemy, you might become like them and all that stuff. But that just seems like a coat of paint over something else. And I can never figure out what it was.
Chris, your take?
I think it's a little bit out of character for Kilrathi, but Fortune was definitely working the whole book to try to humanize him, and this is him just like finally, you know, getting the human condition and so on, and respecting.
To me,
humanity.
To me, it seems like there's two possible choices, and I'm always flummoxed by the fact that I don't know which it is. One is that he actually has come to respect humanity so much that he can't bear to see this beautiful world be destroyed. And that's totally the human way of looking at it. That is how any person would say, oh, of course, he was good at heart.
Yep.
But the other take is that he realized that if Earth is destroyed, that's the end for Kilra. You know, it's him continuing that philosophy and saying, you know, it's not that I want to save the humans so much as that I want to save my own people. I know that if we martyr the Earth, then they will be unstoppable. And I don't know which it is.
But to me, that almost, it seems, when you talk about the first choice, and that's the human look, the second one to me almost feels more like that. That's the human look that, oh, you know, you destroy, you know, and I don't necessarily, I feel like that's also any creature, you know, you mess with their home, they're going to fight harder than anywhere else. You know,
but he makes such a point that the other Kilrathi don't understand that, and that he does.
Yeah, I think that's also him taking the Imperial Japan model as far as he possibly can, where, you know, the Imperial Japanese are never thinking about the individual American. It's how many Yankees can I kill before they take me. I mean, because for me, I'm trying to separate it from what we learn about Jukaga's upbringing later on Fawcett's world, right, where he has all those conversations with his father and with
Abraham.
Abraham, yeah, and you know because the answer is, I would say it's that. It's because he had all those long conversations with Abraham all those decades before that he has this. It's that, you know. I'm trying to think how you describe it. It's like you acquire it. Like when you move someplace new, you start to acquire it.
It's what he's learned about humans.
Yeah, and you associate it.
Yeah, but so you think that it is in the interest of preserving Kilrathi rather than saving humanity?
Yeah, I think it's Jukaga has learned something from his time speaking with Abraham and other humans that then he has adopted into his own personal culture that then he would want to, as he was Emperor of Kilra. I mean, let's also not, you know, this is fun because Valkyrie was on the other day. This is not like, you know, he's not some great freedom fighting, you know, idol to hold up. I mean, in the end, you know, it's like people hold up von Stauffenberg, like, dude, you're still fighting the Wehrmacht. Like, let's not split the hair that close here.
Oh no, 50 years people are going to be wearing like Rasta Baron Jukaga shirts. It's going to be a whole cultural movement.
Jukaga was right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, there's the round 2 of AWC merch right there.
No, and I think I agree with. I think I do agree with that. It is not that he is saving what he loves. It's that he's
adopted that.
Yeah, it's that don't destroy. He's saving Kilra. He's not saving Earth.
Yeah, but I think I'm also cheating though because I'm thinking of Action Stations, which at this point was not published yet. So it's really.
But it was. I mean, it counts, and it's for the purpose of debate. And you can tell from some of the references in here, like to Thrakath's uncle and stuff, that it's a story that Fortune has in his head, at least.
Yeah, and this is actually, before you go on, this is one thing that I kind of mentioned to you earlier, is that in these last few chapters, too, it's almost like Fortune completely changes the personality of some of them. Like, Jukaga gets a few things that aren't necessarily normally like him, and Thrakath is like...
that's actually...
I didn't realize that.
No, that's a bad question.
Because, Thrakath suddenly gets a whole lot of traits that he hadn't had before, and a lot of... Like, he suddenly becomes a halfway different person out of the blue. And there's a trigger moment.
We have this moment where it turns out that, Thrakath is actually incredibly clever. He has masterminded all of this. And then he proceeds to bleep up everything else for the rest of the book. So what happened with Prince Thrakath? He's suddenly very, very bad in a crisis. He had masterminded all this. He got it to the point where he wanted it, and then everything falls apart. He screws up at Sirius. He screws up at Earth. He orders a strike when he shouldn't. It's just Thrakath making mistake after mistake, which...
Could it be that's why he needs Malek in 3?
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, he needs a Chidiachi.
Yeah, because his strategy is apt. I mean, and Fortune it's like overwhelming power, just storming right in. And what's funny is that you never... It's not even that there's some strategy in his part. It's, okay, Confed's going to throw the first strike at us. We're going to absorb it. Our strike's also going off at the same time. They trade blows. They go back. And then that happens several points in these last 2 chapters like that, where it's like Tolwyn always... And Tolwyn's got that first strike mindset. In carrier warfare, those who get the first strike off is typically those who win. And he does it every time.
I've got a couple of notes I will go through here. Hit upon an unusual Special Operations 1 reference in here, where Thrakath and Jukaga are talking, and it's so weird. Thrakath tells Jukaga, "You were never a prisoner of the humans. I was. You have not lost comrades to them. I have." First of all, it's not believable to me that he's not lost comrades to them, but you immediately think, when was Thrakath a prisoner of the humans? And the answer, as far as I can tell, is... for like 45 minutes aboard the Bonnie Heather in Special Operations 1. So it immediately puts this whole story in your head. You'd think that Thrakath has come back to Kill Ra with all these tall tales about how he escaped from human... he's built up his own glory on this... it's like LBJ and the Silver Star. It's all there in the background. I thought that was a really interesting... side reference.
Because it's such a weird thing. I mean, doesn't he escape from a power outage? Not exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think we all suspect that it's probably that he can control Hobbs. And
that's right. There you go.
Interesting parallel to because we start the book with a little fleet action where everything goes perfectly, and then at this denouement we have this giant fleet action where nothing goes perfectly. And there's some really great parallels, especially stuff as simple as like the descriptions of Jason's visor and just the scratch one flat top. It was such a big deal at the start, and then it's wrong here.
No joy. Yep.
The typos are terrible in the ebook. There were dozens of them. Someone at Band needs to be beaten with a stick.
I remember that.
We have one final use of Kilrathi numbers, your favorite.
I like more how he gave up halfway.
Well, this is a great sequence in my mind, because first we're in Tolwyn's head, and he's thinking about how Intel's estimate of Kilrathi losses, they've killed about 700 Kilrathi fighters, and he knows that will be cut down once debriefing teams look at camera footage.
Yep.
And then we go to Thrakath, and Thrakath says, "What are our losses?" And his officer reports it's 8 of 8s and 5 8s total. And in the battle today, it was 7 8 of 8s and 2 8s total. So for what Tolwyn thinks is about 700 ships, it's actually 464, but 688 total up until Sirius. So the Kilrathi are taking some pretty serious losses.
Yeah.
And this actually brings up another thing I wanted to mention, which is I absolutely love the normalcy that happens in the background of all this. That seeing people continue to do their jobs in the spite of this being especially bleak. And you see it throughout with the carrier deck operations. There's this moment where an officer who lives in Sirius interrupts Tolwyn, and then his section lieutenant quiets him. And especially here where they're talking about how the debriefing teams are looking at the camera footage, and we're thinking this is the end of the game. But
there's jobs that to be done. Yeah.
But these people are still, they're below decks in the Concordia, looking through individual frames of footage from the survivors of the previous battle to find out get better intel. And it's just interesting seeing that professionalism on both sides.
Because I really like that moment too when the ensign snaps at Tolwyn and then realizes he's snapped and his lieutenant just kind of pulls him away to go, kind of talk him down, where it's like, that's something he'll never suffer repercussions for, but it's also like, hey, we all get our one moment. And he does that too with the Kilrathi.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Right? Because when they're cheering, right, when they get to Earth, and Thrakus, like, normally, I wouldn't let this happen, but because of this moment, I'm going to let this discipline slip.
Yeah, and he tells all these little stories in moments like that. Like, even the interaction between Drukaga and the captain, where you call this a victory, and I call it revenge.
Yeah.
There's a whole story. What is that captain getting revenge for? We have no idea. But he's doing such a good job of putting these characters in such a way that they're real people, 3D characters, which he's not always great at.
No.
So we should call him out as being especially good here. One I noted down here: why does Tolwyn brief only 3 pilots in his big? There's this big briefing before Earth where he's Blue 1, you're gonna do this. Blue 2, you're gonna do this. Blue 3, you're gonna do this.
So you took that as it. See, I took that as like Blue 1 was the wing doing that, and maybe there was more pilots in the room. I didn't take it as Blue 1 was one individual, but I got you, because I guess he could be...
It seems like one of those, like, in a college class in a movie, or a high school class in a movie, where the bell rings, and then you see the professor, he says, like, one fact, like, archaeology is digging, and then the bell rings again, and that's the end of the class.
Yeah.
You know what class I'm thinking about, Lee, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here's a good one to talk about. But then go around the table. Did you survive? You're a civilian. Did you personally survive this battle?
No.
Let me read the cities.
I thought you were talking about Mars with all the civvies and our pleasure craft. No. You mean our galaxy? That thing got blown the hell up. We're dead.
No, you on Earth right now.
I'm dead.
You survived.
I know I am.
It looked like Chicago going up, followed seconds later by a dozen more. Pittsburgh, Boston, Miami, Quebec, and then across Northern Europe, Amsterdam, Berlin, Stockholm, Constantinople, and Paris. Other flashes had enabled the primary control systems for Earth's American and European space defenses in Omaha, Rio, Tripoli, and Kiev. So, did anybody who made it out and who didn't?
I'm dead. In my hometown.
The West Coast seemed pretty good.
Yeah, West Coast is good. You're good.
Fortune probably just kind of forgot we were here.
Well, it's funny though.
In the 90s, nobody knew about Seattle.
This is before Seattle got big, because he goes Chicago, then a dozen more. So I'm guessing other East Coast cities as well, like New York, are probably gone. DC,
not DC.
Well. No,
that's what's very lucky about this is DC, they did not mention the one city you're about to see several times a week.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And I always thought this was wheelbarrow size balls letting him do this.
Yeah,
destroying all these cities.
Yep.
Surely there would be some use to show Earth in the future, and you might have cause to mention Paris, but no.
No, yeah, and then or even just the number of people that are, what is truly happening when these detonations are occurring? Like, is this, Hiroshima, Nagasaki type thing? Like, what? Because they don't, they make it clear that most people that are in shelters of some kind that we have constructed during the war.
And the other interesting thing I take from that list of cities is Constantinople, which is not the name of that city today. It's Istanbul. Why does it go back?
Yeah. What's going on? I mean, it's even in a song.
Yeah.
That they tell you.
Which probably came out just before this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My suspicion is it's not some slight against Muslims or anything like that. It's just some weird, it always changes back. But I don't know. Or maybe it's even a privateer reference. The capital of Gemini sector is New Constantinople. Maybe it makes sense that Earth has Constantinople again.
It's also interesting, though, he's picked one... I like how, though, even because he only has one cruiser firing. He's picked. While these cities are somewhat spread out over that area, they're at least in that kind of same general box. You know, I think Tripoli is probably the southernmost city in all of that, and then Quebec is your northernmost.
Now, I will say, Chris, if you look closely at the cover of the book, the West Coast does seem to be getting. Don't seem to.
Yeah, you're just over. Over the horizon there, Seattle. You know.
All right, here's a controversial sentence that you all go when you hear it. Sivar be praised. She guided you thus, my lord.
Yeah. I heard that.
And, you know, I'm always trying to figure out where that reference is, and here it is. So, future me, it's here.
Remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is one of the couple of references to Sivar being female rather than male. And I remember that being a giant debate at one time. In retrospect, yeah, there's lots of ridiculous stuff like that in religion where there are multi-person gods and so on. So, because we know it is a historic prophet, Sivar. There was a male prophet, Sivar. The god Sivar is different, perhaps. Perhaps.
Maybe.
Easy enough to just say that the god is fluid.
Yeah.
There you go. That's
which we didn't know what it was then, and now it's totally
but
cool.
2669, you know, hey, or 2668, what do we know, right? What do we know?
So here's a question, more specific. Is Jenny McCrae real? Chris, your take?
Oh, that I don't know. That just kind of gave me goosebumps. I had not considered that.
You don't know? You guys don't know Jenny?
I guess I assumed she was.
Okay.
She must have been a very memorable student.
Could easily, you know, there's definitely plenty of other people are sacrificing themselves or dying. I mean, she could be real.
It's a strange situation to me because it feels like there's a couple possible things. One is there is a real Marine who's Jenny McCrae who does happen to know his daughter and can tell him everything's all right and then blows herself up and kills them both. That's certainly the most logical, literal read of it. But there's just something so odd about how he makes such a big deal about how he looks at her and he sees his estranged daughter or maybe his wife, and she's like this picture of femininity that inspires him to die or something. One extreme is he imagined the whole thing, and this was him blowing himself up.
I would agree to you, except the other Marines, the demolition team interact with Jenny.
Okay.
You know, because at one point she said, because they're like, what about going deeper? And she's like, and she waves them off. Because I mean, I could see what you're saying. Because when she's standing over him at the end after he's been shot, and then she slams down on that, like, that's him imagining. I could see that, but
but I guess follow-up question to that is, if she's real, is she his daughter's friend or is she his daughter?
Who, Duke or
Duke's daughter? Because he says, "What's your name, Marine?" He's like, "Oh, she looks like my daughter," and he's like, "What's your name, Marine?" And she's a Jenny McCrae, and he says, "Oh, that's my girl's name too." And he thinks, "Oh, she's in this battle somewhere too."
Yeah, the 4th Marine.
And then he keeps thinking about how she reminds, and then he says something like, "I haven't seen her in years."
Yeah.
And the person he's talking to, Jenny McCrae, says she knows it's all right. There's something slightly supernatural about it. Like he's getting permission to die, essentially.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I 100% see what you mean. But it's just because she interacts with the other Marine. But I mean, no, I get that. That's like the the movie. It's the fuzzy glow and it's like I mean,
it's my daughter telling. Is it his daughter? Is it actually his daughter is there telling him everything's okay, or is it another Marine and he's fantasized from there?
Yeah, I feel like there's 3 people in this book club chat that there's a program that just came out that uses this exact effect at the Starcourt Battle of Starcourt, where I think that's the exact same effect, right? You too?
Yep.
Right. That's what they do with that. They play up the same thing with a mom and are they there, and that creates a character to react in a certain way. So, I mean, You've convinced me more than I would have thought because she definitely interacts with the demo team.
Yeah.
And then says she's going to stay there, but you make a good point once he starts babbling. Because, I mean, when I read that today, I took it literally that Jenny was friends with the other Jenny, and they went to boot together.
Yeah, it seems literal at first, and then but there's also this blessing and forgiveness about it.
Yeah, because
it's also very convenient.
Yeah, because she does say she knows where it's like,
I'm your daughter's friend who is also the same name as your daughter, and I know that she forgives you for being a distant father.
Yeah, because here's the thing though, because her name might not be Jenny Greco because she's been married to Lieutenant McCrae or maybe. I mean that's something I'm not gonna lie, I've never ever thought of it anyway except the literal way it's described, but. I think you could be onto something there. I can see that now. I can definitely see that.
I'm going to tap your brain for some history references now. A little slide.
Listen, I just had an epiphany about Jenny, okay? I mean,
you're opening yourself to new worlds.
I'm trying to digest that too.
Right? Because son of a bitch, he does have a point, even though part of me says I 100% disagree with it. But
you know what, though?
Damn it makes sense.
And I know, Loaf will love this. Our mutual love of space above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the name of the guy that did all the technical stuff for Captain Dale Died?
Mm-hmm.
When he did an episode of that show, in the episode, one of the characters is like the Angel of Death, I guess you could say.
Yeah, Stay with the Dead.
Stay with the Dead.
Oh no, it's is it? No, it's the one that's almost no dialogue.
Hawk.
Who monitors the birds?
There you go. And when they were filming that episode, Dale Dye walked past the actress who was playing the Spectre of Death, and he goes, "Oh, we meet again."
Huh.
And apparently, when he was out in the field, he said that he saw this specter out in the distance. And Bill Manchester, I think, wrote about it in Goodbye Darkness. So it is a reoccurring motif in war that people see. I don't want to call them phantoms or banshees or, fill in the blank yourself.
Or just
maybe
a projection.
Maybe this feeds into that.
It's very common at the moment of death. People who've come back from the brink of death describe this idea of their loved ones saying it's okay to go. The mistakes you made in life are forgiven. And the only thing that gives me pause about this, if that is the intent, it is way more subtle than most anything Bill Forstchen has ever written.
I think you're trying to give him more credit. I mean, I think you're trying to see deeper, which I don't mind because I like that idea. And I mean, you're right. Cause I mean, I remember it's weird how you're describing because I remember when my grandfather died, we were all in there, and my grandmother just kept holding his hand, saying it's okay to go. And I remember that it did seem like that was kind of one of those things that allowed the passage to occur. Was that? Because but I mean, you think of Duke. I mean, the only thing he was really missing was like taking a final shot and having a cigar. Although, can we also make reference that Duke and his did everyone notice that his good arm got screwed up this time?
Yeah.
So now he has no good arms, right?
Well, that was no good anything because he got exploded.
Well, sure, but I was like, when it's like his good arm, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, man. And then he has the old, I'm an old man, I couldn't after the Vuker, man. Oh, shit.
The interesting thing is, we've kind of called this book out several times. So we have two heroic deaths in these chapters, Chamberlain and Greco.
Whoa!
And they're both people who, in the past, who've said, we know their characters, but we know nothing about them. And yet, at least in the case of Duke Greco, we get a beating heart as we stop it.
So I'm gonna call Chamberlain does not. Well, I don't even think of I think him as just I know character B and he's going to die.
Yeah.
Which is even weird. Although why is it always going to take 1 billion missiles? I notice how Hunter gets 6, Chamberlain gets 5. It's like one will do. I mean, I get we have the blaze explosion of glory, but yeah.
So I've got a couple of photos of folks from history who are.
All right, what we got?
I'm gonna.
Yep.
Who's this here?
Oh, hello.
References.
That's Mr. Nelson.
Yep, Admiral Nelson.
Yep, who's Horatio, who have his famous Battle of Trafalgar,
and
where he will not survive. He will be shot early on in his action.
And that's just literally in this book. They describe.
He describes Nelson at Trafalgar. Although,
right.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think the comparison is the same because
no, it's not really.
Nelson was trying to kind of cross through their fleet and cross the T in a different way, where they're just doing a straight up. It's more like Salameus, which they're trying to close and board. I mean, because that's how the Athenians beat the Persians at Salamis, is that they closed and got, and then Persians can't swim apparently.
Who we have here?
No, that's Mr. Patton or General Patton.
There's a point in the book, and again, this is one where we can debate how is it a joke or is it legitimate. Tolwyn says to Big Duke, "What are you, the reincarnation of Patton?"
Yeah,
and Big Duke says, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah.
Is he joking, or is he like Patton himself, someone who believes he has been reincarnated
from
as all these
Hannibal
great generals?
and everyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, because that was certainly something Patton thought.
I would, no. Greco strikes me more like the Jim Mattis, like the warrior philosopher.
He hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, right. But I see him. Greco. He. From my impressions, I picture him as this kind of blue collar Marine who makes his way through the ranks, but then also becomes highly educated along the way. But so he comes off as this, blue collar, this idiot doesn't anything. But then he's like, oh yeah, so Patton. Of course I know that. Yes, of course I'm the reincarnation of him. Although he strikes me as... here's my problem with that. And it's a problem that Forstchen clearly doesn't think about, because every Marine would be furious about this. Greco ain't no goddamn Patton.
Yeah.
He's not some army general. He's a Marine. He's Chesty Puller. Right?
Alright, so then...
I think that's... Who's that guy? That's a weird picture.
That is Roger Young.
Oh, Jesus.
Medal of Honor winner.
Yeah, recipient. Yeah. He looks weird, that big hat on. I was like, what the hell is that? I don't know Roger Young's full story off the top of my head, though. I will not lie.
Well, obviously, the bigger connection there is also they spelled his name wrong.
Because they add the G or something?
They lose the D.
They use the D, that's what it is.
So he's a Medal of Honor winner, killed in action in 1943, and he kind of became... Recipient, yeah, sorry. You don't win it, I remember.
You don't win it, that's right.
So, he became famous because there was a folk song written about his deeds, sacrificing himself, the Ballad of Roger Young. And he's in science fiction circles much more famous now because in Starship Troopers, the novel, and in the movie, he's the name of the ship. They name the corvettes after heroic foot soldiers in Starship Troopers world, and the big ship that Rico spends most of his time on is the Roger Young. Okay. So when we have this battle with the destroyers, it's the destroyer next to Mike Pulowski.
Yeah,
is the Roger Young, and they call it on the radio and it gets destroyed. But that's a Starship Troopers reference. We've talked before about some of the stuff that Forstchen took directly from Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
but there's the actual Medal of Honor recipient,
Mr. Roger Young. Yeah, and yeah, he pulls a whole bunch in quickly afterwards. Like as I told you, I was very proud of you because. There's one scene when the Catharix is under attack at the end with Pulowski, and it's clear because he's setting it before that he talks about fuel lines being laid out and ammunition laid out and doors open, and that's very clearly the Japanese carriers at the Battle of Midway when Admiral Nagumo had ordered mid-rearmament that no, not ship strike, land strike, no, ship strike. So instead of putting all the weapons back into their proper magazines, they're left lying around the deck. Where, they can explode.
And you see it as soon as Thrakath orders them to begin a strike when they think it's a bad idea. Yeah. You know exactly where it's going. That's the Battle of Midway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I said earlier, I think Forstchen is also, with Kevin Tolwyn watching the destruction of the Hakagas, he's thinking of Ensign George Gay during the Battle of Midway, who was the sole survivor of Torpedo 8, who for a while people would say, oh, he must have seen the whole thing, and unfortunately George he had horrible PTSD from this event, eventually commits suicide in Florida as a result of the guilt he felt for being the sole survivor. But later when analysis was done, could he have seen these events? And it was, no, these ships are moving at almost 30 knots. When they were destroyed an hour later, they were almost 35, 40 miles away in some situations. So, but yeah, he hits a whole bunch. And then we have that great, the Leyte Gulf one is really good. I mean, because you never get to name the Japanese guy. He does it. It is a subtle, but And I think we should also say that these chapters also do well. I mean, when you're a kid, I mean, you're feeling this at the end. When you feel the resolution of Tolwyn finding Kevin, Bear being with him, the band's back together in Toland's office pounding drinks. Even Kruger's a little loose, right? Kruger's kind of like, well, I'm not in the Landreich, so I'm like, I can, I'm one of the guys now, not the president. It's like you get everything you want in those last like 3 pages, and then like, you're both on the verge of like tears, but also like, God damn it, yes. Yes.
But and you genuinely do at that point in the book have absent comrades. You miss Hunter and Chamberlain and Big Duke and
gives a shit about Chamberlain.
Nobody cares about
Chamberlain. You care more about Jenny McCrae, for God's sakes, than Chamberlain.
There's a genuine feeling of loss in that last part, and
because
it's well constructed to get you to that point.
Yeah, he reflects on it too, though, about when they talk about how war, even when you win, the problem is that winning costs. Yeah. And those costs are your friends.
Which is such a more humanistic thought than we had at the beginning of this book, where war is necessary. We have to keep fighting this cool war.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah. And, there's such a divide between this literal message we have pounded in kind of by the narrator over and over to how the book actually leaves you feeling, which is not victorious and happy and everything is great. Our heroes have done things. This was a terrible thing that happened, and there were no winners, and that's a very interesting. Yeah. It's a much. He should get some credit for that.
Yeah, he does leave you feeling
lost.
Yeah, you feel lost, and it's not. And because I'm trying to think, like the situation, it's not like I wanted to then, or I need to rush and play Wing. I gotta finish this fight type thing. It's like you want a moment of almost reflection, like you think of them cracking open those bottles of scotches, and it's he literally ends it with a toast to absent comrades.
Yeah, in fact, I remember at the time thinking, man, this ended quickly. The battle's over and click.
Yeah.
But thinking about it dramatically as a piece of literature, this is the time to end.
Yes.
Action Stations goes a little bit further, and we have this, you're getting promoted, you're getting a destroyer, you're getting a frigate, and here's the briefing from Intel about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. But this makes for a much better story. We end on this melancholic feeling that you would not expect from a young adult action book.
Yeah, and it leaves you both, reflective, but also wanting more. I think, one of the best things was that, they're writing another, which looking back now is kind of funny, but they're writing another Bear book? Like, the novel guys are coming back? Oh my god,
that was so exciting.
We were so, we had,
Full Colors, another Bear book.
Yeah, because you had the 2 novelizations, where it was, look there's Bear, now, why the hell is Bear doing in charge of a destroyer group? What the hell is this about?
Crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but then about someday.
But that's great because then you get on to False Colors, and he manages to reward you for him being in Wing Commander, the 3 novelization. And although it seems to be a problem in the Wing Commander of the universe, we need better arm protectors.
Yes.
People are losing arms left and right. People are losing arms left and right in this damn universe,
Well, there's not a third one.
That's right.
Those are the 2 arms you can lose.
Well, yeah, and everybody's losing them, so, yeah. Trying to think of anything. Because there's so much in here, I feel like, even though we've covered a ton, I feel like there's still, bits that we're just...
It's almost like we could talk about Wing Commander forever.
That's true.
But let me go around the room and get some last thoughts from folks. Starting with Chris.
Yeah, just one comment going back up in the chat. Georgios asked about, there should be 10,000 pilots. What about all the fighters? I know there was probably some disarmament stuff where they were trying to get us to melt down the fighters, but if it's anything like reality, they're parked out in the boneyard somewhere and accessible. So.
In Space Arizona.
Yeah. And you'd think that maybe, at one of the Lagrange points or something in the system that there's just, how cool would that be, imagine, right? There's just this gigantic boneyard of thousands of rapiers, thousands of hornets just lined up, wingtip to wingtip, and because all they need is fuel. Right?
Isn't that in Action Stations? That's one of the descriptions.
It is, yeah. At the airbase, the.
But is it on the ground?
Yeah, on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, because when he walks by, when they're at Johnson Island.
Yeah,
Johnson Island, yeah. That's right,
Yeah.
Keep going down. So, Leha?
Well,
Chris?
Chris,
actually, final thoughts. Yeah, he just answered the question. Sorry.
Thumbs up.
We're bad at this sometimes.
Highly recommended.
Leah!
The Shocker would have been not recommended.
Yeah. It's funny after rereading this, just how formative it was of, the science fiction that I still read today.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, fun, military SF.
Mm-hmm.
It's unpretentious, which is probably what I like most about the Wing Commander books, is that they don't have I'm trying to think of the other stuff that I've read that's just ponderous, and the writer kind of weighs everything down. And no, Fortune's just real gung-ho. Like I've said before, this is the stuff they'd be reading in high school in Starship Troopers. And it's just a great page turner. That's really what it comes down to.
Agree
Did
with
you at me one more time?
Hold on. Let me do it like
yes, that. Indeed.
Because and it's a page turner too, because like Ben said, you have to plunder through all this stuff, and then it's like, oh, burn, baby, burn! And like you just want, you want to get to that, and you want to see like what happens to Kevin, and it's such a nice little cherry he plops with that one to end it.
Like it's almost like, imagine a service that's called like Cat in a Box, and you order this, and you're like, okay, it's gonna come in 6 to 8 weeks. I'm gonna get my cat in a box, and finally this box comes. It's just a cardboard box. You open it up, and there's a cat in there. That is Fleet Action. This is a book that's name is what it is.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
You picked this book up because you want to read about spaceships fighting, and man, it kind of teases you and tosses you until you get there, and then there's a Fleet Action.
And he pays off very, very quickly.
And in fact, I almost think it's in German the translation is Die Bedrohung, and that's just the secret fleet. It's not as literal. It's literal, but in a very different way. Yeah,
it's not
It's not. This is what you're getting.
Yeah.
One cat in a box.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The Fortune books kind of, that is what they are, right? End Run is an End Run.
End Run, yeah.
False Colors action is a false colors action. Action Stations, well, prepare for war.
Action Stations, even last time, was just, here's a Navy word.
Yeah. And not even like, and you typically, Action Stations, battle stations, what we say today, so.
I guess it's because it's literally the start, so it's the first, they're calling the character, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're not
we'll talk about that in a few months.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So for my part, I love this book.
Yep.
I will always love this book. It is so much fun. It's like reading candy. It is so much fun to read these Fortune books, and End Run and Fleet Action in particular.
Yeah.
This will always bring me back to age 13, reading this over and over again, writing in my spiral-bound notebook, Wing Commander information. I think it absolutely holds up pretty well to our analysis. You can put as much of yourself into one of these books as you want, but you don't have to. And I think it's tremendously fun to look back at. It's just a neat book, and I love it. You spend so much of your youth thinking you want to tell people that you read things that are fancy. I have an English degree that involved a focus on D.H. Lawrence, and I read so much of that stuff and commentary and literary criticism and just all these things that I did because I thought you were supposed to read the smartest thing in the room. And
you were. There's a time and a place.
There's a time when you're supposed to seem that way, but the reality is you should read what is fun to you and put as much of yourself into it as you want. And that is the Wing Commander books for me. I'm a tremendous fan of course, Wing Commander, but Star Trek novels, terrible Star Trek novels, the worse the better.
Of them,
yeah. And it is just, literature isn't a predetermined catalog of what everyone agrees is great, and you should agree with them. It should be figuring out ways to think from what speaks to you, and this speaks to me very much. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with. I mean, this book, of course, it immediately takes me back to the mid '90s of, Dalnet days of IRC and everybody being proud. Like, look at my book my binding's about to fall apart. I've read mine so many times.
Oh yeah, I've gone through a couple of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I still have my original copy. Thankfully, all mine are in pretty decent shape. For the most part, I wouldn't say any of them are bad, but yeah, I mean, it's a fun book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's funny. It seems like a billion years ago we were worried about all the ridiculous politics we had to deal with in this,
and they're gone, just like in the book.
And they're gone, but it's fun. And what that just made me think of is that, as a final comment on Thraketh, when he has that weird transformation kind of bit at the end, and he's just listing all the things, he feels the need to mention to us again that, hey, in case you hadn't figured it out, the foreign minister is a traitor.
That's a
right?
reminder.
Right? And then there's another thought I just had where, did anyone understand when Jukaga's on the bridge of the cruiser and he starts talking about what's a traitor to a traitor? I didn't understand that, because who the hell's the other traitor?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah,
because he says, like, what's a traitor to a traitor? And I was like, what the hell does that mean? But anyways, that's for like the
I always read it as, once you're a traitor, why would you care? It's not an insult if it's something you've decided.
What's a traitor to a traitor? Oh, okay, I gotcha. But yeah, I mean, this book is awesome. I it's hard not to love those last 2 chapters. I mean, today I've read this book 1,000 times and it still got me going. You still felt it when and you knew it was going to happen.
I will read this book 2 more times this year, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm excited to now see, because we're now about to make a big transition from the Fortune books to the novelizations for a bit, which is going to be an interesting change, given how they're they're tied to the games, and they have a bit of a different writing style. We'll see, right?
And yeah, so I will say our next book. This is the end of Fleet Action Book Club. Our next one is going to be August 17. We're going to start the Wing Commander 3 novelization.
Okay, so we're going to skip several weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be part of the big CIC party.
On Saturday.
First 4 chapters of the Wing Commander 4 novelization, because we're going to be playing right along with the game.
Okay.
We're going to play the Orsini series on the PC. We're going to play it on the 3DO. And we're going to read the chapters, and we're going to talk about it all. And so everybody out there, that is your homework. Play those missions in preparation to have one big-ass chat about it.
Yeah, we're going to have quite the party on my birthday.
And I will end this segment by thanking Chris and Leha and Trillian, who could not make it tonight. We are poor for not having him. Is that grammar right? Well, we miss him anyway.
You're asking me. You're the English guy.
It's been fantastic having you all to talk about this. I mean, I know we will talk about this book normally.
We're probably going to talk about it right now in like 20 minutes for like the next half an hour anyway.
Yeah, we're going to go out there.
We already confirmed the Sesame Street thing, so we got nothing to look up now.
So, but thank you guys. You make this segment. I don't know if anybody watches this and has fun, but I have the time of my life doing this, so we're going to keep doing it every 2 weeks.
That is correct, sir.
All right. I will see you guys next time.
See you next time.
See ya, book chat.
All right.
I
saw there's a fly buzzing around.
One fly just flew in here as being a jerk.
Shall we fill out the book?
Yep, we got that out there for you. Is there anything else? I feel like, are we forgetting something? No, we're not forgetting.
No.
The books, everything's that. Everything's good. So yeah, next week the Summer of Privateer continues.
We're gonna get that Centurion.
That Faldari Mark II is
where the Faldari.
Loaf is very excited to get the Centurion faster.
And I think maybe we'll bust out the jump drive for a little adventure through space and time.
We have been talking about this that we do need to take the jump drive out and venture to some other universe for a bit. It's been a long time since we've done that,
and we have some ideas. So I think we're gonna do that next week.
Yeah,
so look forward to a little.
We'll try some variety.
Jump.
And of course, let us know if there's things you think of that we, do some variety. Yeah, we always have different, and we might even try some, I feel like down the line we'll do some stronger leaps of our jump drive as we take bigger leaps. The connections to Wing Commander will become a little bit thinner, but, they'll still be good. There's a few things.
And I should say this, if anybody out there wants to let us know, is there a Hakaga blowing up the Earth?
Okay,
if anybody else out there has a segment you want to see play something, talk about something, anything, we will have fun with that. So our book is signed. Everything is great. Yep. Thanks for coming out. If you stayed with us for all this time, this has somehow gone for 3.5 hours.
Not bad. And that was even with a
lighter show, yeah.
Light first segment. Listen, we both knew that this book club was going to be a long one. You can't. Even though a lot happens quickly, it's still...
Well, we were down a third of our book club people. I thought that would be faster, but no. So,
definitely. We're always left.
We'll see you guys out there in the space. And... It's late, man.
We'll see you floating out there like Kevin. Hopefully your transponder's still beeping.
So here's Clyde.
See ya.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clyde Burrows from the Omnicron Institute. Meson blasters may seem a little bland as far as futuristic space guns go, but the science behind them is no joke. Mesons are unstable subatomic particles made up of a quark and an antiquark. In less than the blink of an eye, a few hundredths of a microsecond, a meson will decay to become one of the building blocks of all atoms, electrons, and neutrons. See you on the next exciting episode of All Wings Considered.